Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Slot 1 Super Podcast. We are back with episode 25, a very special episode for you in store today. Not only do we have the part 2 of the 9th anniversary to discuss today, featuring the boy Gohan Beast himself, but we also have a very special guest joining us today, Mr. DATRUTHDT. Say hello, good sir.
Hello, everyone. Chat. Hey, guys.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Yes, of course, for Gohan Beast, we had to bring a very special guest. And as per usual, of course, joining me, Dokkan Assets, we have Ningen and Minato's Flash. See, this time I really have an excuse to not know where you are because it's not the usual format. I have my John this time.
You love to see it.
Oh man, but yes, thank you everybody for coming through. Nice to see all of you here today. I'm sure everybody is all excited to talk about the anniversary, but before we get into it, as per usual, we always like to remind you guys that any donations, any super chats with comments, questions, concerns, all that good stuff, right, will be saved for the end of the stream. So don't worry, we're not ignoring you. We're just saving it for the very end. And obviously, if you have any questions for us or, of course, Truth, right, feel free to ask and we will read it out at the end. All right. With that being said, let's get into it. Now, before we get into... Oh boy, we're already laughing. Listen, we won't dwell on it too long because obviously we know why you're here. But we have to talk about Global.
Woo! Let's go. Hi.
I don't know about all that. But of course, first up on the chopping block, we did just have the release of LR Ribrianne on Global, which I know just everybody was so incredibly excited for. So, Masked Ningen, you of course are our resident Global player. Well, we'll keep it short, but how are we feeling about Ribrianne?
Yeah, well, you know.
I did. Moving on. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I did 55% showcase for her. She was actually slightly better than I expected in terms of like slightly higher numbers and stuff, being 55% level 1 links, but not particularly exciting. Obviously a nice asset, I guess, to have like for the Androids team if you pulled them, but as we are all very much aware on Global, that team doesn't really get good until we start getting all of the anniversary buffs. The only thing I will say that worked out very nicely for me is I pulled them off of the Global ticket pack thing, so I didn't spend any stones at all. So nice. I'm just good to go, ready for whatever's coming up next. But
that is a W.
Good old easy skip.
Yeah, for real. Do we know what's coming next on Global, or is it just one of the various Dokkan Fests?
It would be Gohan and Piccolo.
Yeah, because they're one of those. They're in that classic time slot where they don't have a part 2 LR, so they'll come out at the beginning of March. And then
it's a bit more specific than that. That is the worst celebration of the year on JP, like kind of like that start of November. Global players, you guys are gonna have to adapt to that. That's the worst of the year. I think it's because that's when they maybe put a little extra effort into anniversary. That's my theory. Okay. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I think.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
That makes a lot of sense, though.
They always got to allocate the resources.
But yeah, so usually that time slot is they'll drop on like the 1st or 2nd of March or something, and then obviously Saiyan Day will be the 18th. So that's
I do. By the way, I think that they already showed that they're fast tracking Broly and Trunks. So I do think that Broly and Trunks will probably come out either around Saiyan Day or with Gohan and Piccolo at the start of March.
Yep. Yeah, because it was, I think it was like 2 months between each stage of the Awakening on JP, but then it's only been 1 since he came out, and then is already the Trunks and Broly, so that's cool.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Trunks and Broly are fun,
very high.
Actually.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. For a quest mode LR? Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm glad that we like actually got a good free-to-play unit. I swear, I don't know, man. Maybe they just have it out for the free-to-play units, but it was so nice when...
I was going to say, the thing that we're waiting to see, right? Because has it been 2 months now since they became an LR? Because if they're going to get an Easy A in the same kind of time frame, then it should be soon on JP.
Yeah, right? they got their LR in December, so it's been 2 months.
Yeah. So
that's a good point. They could Easy A for the anniversary. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
that would be cool.
I hadn't
That would
even
be cool.
considered that.
That would be. It would be kind of. I
Because,
guess it would be kind of weird for them to get it so quickly, but at the same time, also not that weird because Dokkan loves to give the easiest quick.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, it just means they can then have the schedule open for doing like another one of those kind of units and then go through the 4 steps with them because they're on full power, aren't they? So they'd be on Broly's team.
Yep.
So then being part of like the end of the anniversary would be kind of cool.
And remember, they are a Rainbow Orb Changer, so they bring something else to the team.
Yep.
Yep, I agree. So that could be pretty cool. And I want to say something about Gohan and Piccolo. Actually, would probably still say to skip them, obviously, but they're actually pretty good for the Beast Gohan team from what I've been using. So I kind of like it there.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Like, I do get it, because obviously they activate the unit super, they have support and stuff like that. But they are a risk unit when you don't need to do that, right? Like,
just for fun, but
it's I got you. But it's like they're perfect on like Earthbred fighters where it's like, you take a lot of damage, but you get a lot of stronger and you revive and stuff like that. I just don't really feel like they're needed next to Beast. You just put the other behemoths next to him, and you can't take damage.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other good supports like the Gammas, Gohan, and Krillin. I'm 18 Krillin, so that makes sense for sure. They're not really needed on that.
Unless you wanted to run like a all like timeline Gohan team or something where it was like all the different Gohan moments, I guess. But obviously that'd just be more for fun than anything. But yeah. So obviously, with that being said, right, that is basically Global's big thing that just happened. However, there is one more thing that we still kind of don't know everything about, that there's been a lot of speculation recently on Global, which of course is the Super Dokkan tickets. I know that obviously people have been talking about, what is this banner going to be? And it is very strange because they really haven't, given us a lot of info, right? Like every time it's like a new news is posted on Global, people are like, oh, okay, surely they're gonna post what these are about. Do you guys think will be the end result of these tickets? Truth, what do you think?
Well, I saw people talking that the sales actually reset when that happens, right?
Okay.
So
really?
Oh, the 20th.
Because Ribrianne didn't come with sales, right? It's when these
did.
tickets.
She did.
She did?
Yep.
Okay, but there are sales when this banner comes out, so it's a banner you're going to be able to put stones into.
Interesting.
I saw people theorize it could be a returning spot for Vegito and Zamasu, which could make sense. But I do think we could see a global first. I think that's in play.
Global first, Tanabata, LR. Let's go.
That would be crazy. Yeah, because we do know they are doing a global first from that producer letter, but do we know when they're doing it? I don't remember if they said.
No, they didn't say.
No,
They didn't even really specify. It could be an easy A.
Yeah, because
that's true.
They showed the image of like their little
event,
sort of
right?
They showed their little image of like, here's the global first that we've done like each year, and like the last 3 or 4 years in a row, it's just like an easy A. And that was the whole thing for like the whole year.
Right.
Okay, but you did get Vegito Blue first.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I'm not saying we didn't get it.
Vegito,
It
he was
good.
pretty good.
No, he was.
Yeah, he
I'm
was
just
pretty
saying.
good.
It's just funny.
You guys got S tier UI Goku first. That was one of the ones on there, right?
One of the things I did think of that we could see maybe just because it would seem like a random change of the banner for no reason. Because I'm trying to think, the schedule for JP was about the same when Ribrianne came out with the Tournament of Power Android Celebration. They made the Reps of Universe 7 LR featured on the banner instead of Kale and Caulifla. So what if they get a global first easy A? Because then that buffs that team before the anniversary, potentially. But I just don't know why they'd be featured on the banner instead of
Kale
and
could
Caulifla,
be
right?
like... Again, if it could be maybe even Universe Survival Saga themed, and it's like something comes out and they're like on one of the banners that come out or something. Who knows, right?
But yeah,
that's kind of weird. But
I do think Sande could be UI Goku.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that considering we've had it's kind of crazy, right? An anniversary with no new Goku.
Yeah.
I know. It's well, I mean, I don't know. I guess unless you consider the technicality of he's fused in Gogeta.
Well,
but,
yeah,
I don't know. That's like stretching it a little bit. But yeah, very, very interesting.
Y'all are speaking too soon. Amatsu's gonna get base Goku in here somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
Free to play part 3 unit, something
the
like
7th
that.
anniversary had like a LR just like randomly put in part 3 or something, right? Or was it EX part? They brought the
It was the EX part, Goku Jr. Vegeta Jr.
So what if
Oh,
they give us an
yeah, I
LR
forgot
and it's
about
like
that.
what if we get an LR? It's like Goku, Vegeta, and Broly from the Super movie.
That would be cool.
Dude,
That'd
that'd be
actually
sick.
be really cool.
It's like them training together.
Yeah.
Like,
I could see people getting upset that that's not summonable though. Again,
Well,
that would be
fair.
one people get
True.
upset
That's
about.
But the SSR is like a base Goku.
Oh, that is a good idea though. Like that's how they could do like an EX part or part 3 is that. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
That's not a bad idea. And obviously that would be like, even though I think for most people, I mean, obviously that part of the movie is only like 5 minutes or something like that. But, you know, even so, I think it would just still be exciting because obviously it's just a cool part of the movie. So
Yeah.
that would definitely be pretty dope. Yeah. I don't know. It would be cool too. Like maybe then with that, they could add a support memory of like, when Broly's crying in that scene too. Yeah. They could definitely do some fun stuff with that. But,
Yeah.
Ningen, since you are obviously a resident gold player, do you have any other thoughts on the Super Dokkan tickets before we move on to the big boy stuff we got for today?
The only thing I was thinking, and it's one of those things, you guys know me, I like to be positive, a glass half full most of the time. But when they announced the super tickets, I was like, oh yeah, cool. Like, I think it's just one of those things like always happens in the community, right? Where people come up with ideas and expectations, and then when it's not that, you kind of get a little bit disappointed. But I know a lot of a lot of people were thinking when they were first announced that it could be like a big catch-up banner or something that maybe comes out later on in the year. I remember we talked about it with Goresh a couple of episodes ago, and like maybe, you know, the banner comes out after the anniversary and you've built up like 100 tickets by then or something. And then we got the data download and it was like tickets expire on the 11th of March. So it's like, okay, so this is coming out really soon. And then they finally add them into the game and it's like you get 10. So obviously at the end of the day, it's 10 free summons. It's 10 units for free. But like, it feels a little bit hard to get excited. Like if it's a super good banner with like a global first or something and you get like, it's just 10 tickets, which, you know, is better than nothing, don't get me wrong, but I went from being like super hyped about it being some crazy, like, you know, use these tickets to catch up and get all these new units. But obviously at the end of the day, once we see what it is, I'm hoping it will be something exciting. But yeah, it's I've had I say that, of course, I literally just got the Ribrianne thing, but before that, every time the ticket packs come to global for all these Dokkan Fests, I always pick them up, and the last few banners have all been absolutely terrible for me in terms of the actual ticket luck. So I guess we'll see. But I mean, wherever the banner is, the good thing about those kind of things with those tickets, they're free summons. At the end of the day, wherever the banner is, there'll be people out there that will pull those units because of those tickets, right? So definitely interesting to see what it will be. But yeah, who knows? We're going to find out very soon, right? Because that's the only thing, we don't know when that banner is coming, but we know the tickets expire on the 11th of March. So like at the latest, the banner would have to come out at like the beginning of March, right? So we should know within the next like 2 weeks exactly what they're actually going to do. So
yeah,
I guess we'll see.
That's expiring like basically right before Saiyan Day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So like, will the banner last that long until the 11th of March then? Or
well,
like...
usually tickets expire after the banner disappears in case you like didn't get a chance to use them for some reason. So that really would imply that it's like literally like the last days of February or the beginning of March is when it's going to come out.
I mean, again, a lot of people are saying the 20th because like it makes sense because Ribrianne sales, why would they end on the 20th and not until like the next?
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. I saw Proton say in chat because she got her own sales, but they only last for like 5 days or something. So
yeah, there's like, you know, I mean, we know that like, you know, like the Halloween banner gets its own sales and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be like a global first like character. But it could be like, you know, some banner where it returns like Vegito and Zamasu, like people are saying, and then maybe they bring like a global first EZA with that, right? And that could be like the global first event, because I mean they did announce it last month, right? The sync of or like earlier this month, or like it was very recently still. So we'll just have to wait and see how that works. But I think something like that could be very possible too.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, well, that's just about all we got for global.
So excuse me. Don't forget about the hypest thing to come out in Dokkan today, on either version of the game, and that's let me just hold up my. There's Piccolo Junior's active skill going off on my phone right now. Because it's the world tournament, baby.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, buddy. Because I mean, Beast Gohan, he came out yesterday.
So. Oh well, yeah, true.
That is true. Yo, he's spinning for real.
Technically for me, it was. I think the banner came out at like 1 a.m. So technically for me, it was today. But
yeah, well, technically for me, it was yesterday. So.
Fair enough,
bro. That's crazy.
The beauty of time zones.
I tried to save you all. I tried to avoid talking about world tournament, but he caught me red-handed, bro.
How
well,
could
at least
we
you guys
not?
got physical Kami, right? That's
I know,
good.
right? Can't wait.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah. Are we getting a showcase for him then, again? Like,
dude, he's link level 10, ready to go. Like,
no. But I'm talking like a Fusion Zamasu showcase. Like that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, what versus Fusion Zamasu? Hell yeah! He's got type advantage. He's gonna go in slot 1, get that extra dodge chance. Let's go.
He's a dodge character, man. Yeah, he's got it.
Dude, he works really well against AOE. He's got 60% dodge. Against
him. Well, unfortunately, it is one of those things. Obviously, you get the medals for the easy A's as the rewards. So obviously, I got to wait until it's over. Well, I think I could do 1 actually. I've got enough medals to do 1, so it probably will be coming because he's the main unit.
They did an update on the last GP World Tournament where it's really cheap to get the medals now. It's a pack you could buy.
Yeah, I think I worked. It's only, I think it's like 15 of the Hercule signatures less than if you bought them all separately. But yeah, it's like 100 signatures to buy all the medals you need to do the full Easy A. The good thing is as well about saving them up, because I usually finish first in my local, so I get like a decent amount of those Hercule signatures. Because they added it into the game today, I just immediately was able to buy all the medals in Easy A, TN and Chaozu. So
nice.
We'll be getting around to that as well. I just got my I've been very slowly playing it today, because obviously I'll give myself a plug. In just over 24 hours from now, I'm going to be doing my World Tournament subathon stream again. So potentially 24-hour World Tournament stream coming up.
Let's go.
So I've been taking it easy. I've been taking it easy today. So I just got to my 20 mil to get the extra copy of TN and Chaozu. So
must be nice over there on Global to be able to take it easy. I don't like that on JP, buddy.
Well, that's the thing. I don't really care too much about the overall placement. I think I like to finish in the bracket that's like the top 2,000 is, I think, the lowest bracket that gives you enough medals to do 3 of the Easy A's. Then that kind of keeps me up with doing all of it, because usually one of them is so terrible that I don't really care if I don't do them. But yeah, I think I've got that spare set for this time, so I'll be able to do all of the Easy A's this time around. But
that's good.
But yeah, so just casually going through it. But yeah, we'll be doing the big stream tomorrow. So last World Tournament, I tried it. I'm tapped out at 22.5 hours, so we're gonna do it this time, full 24.
Full 24. So, how could you quit so close?
Well, dude, I was falling asleep in my chair, but
dude, I don't even blame you. I could not have, like, I know obviously people literally do that where, you know, they'll like play World Tournament like for 24 hours straight and not sleep. But like, and not even stream it, right? They just do it just because. But like, I don't know, man. I don't think I could handle that. I don't have the mental fortitude.
And then every time World Tournament starts, I'm streaming and then I go into 30 mil points and then I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. It's basically for every World Tournament for me, it's just grab the stones and get out at this point. But anyhow, I was
just going to say, that's the thing. It's like the fact that the, because I have so much stamina now, because obviously I have like the max that you can have, I can do multiple runs without having to refresh. So even with grinding to get into, you know, not like the crazy grind, like all the crazy top 10 people, but even with grinding to stay around the top sort of 1,000, I still always end up with more stones than I started with. So, yeah, and it's one of those things, obviously, for us, for like, crazy. So for content creators, well, because there's daily missions as well, right?
Global is easy mode, man. Damn, y'all are lucky, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you love to see it, because there's daily missions as well, right? So every day there's missions for 3 wins, and each one is like 1 win, 2 wins, 3, and each one gives you a stone. So you get 3 stones in total. I've got 376 stamina, so every day is like over 1,000 stamina worth of runs on the World Tournament that I'm technically not using stones to get. And then there's like meat items in some of the missions and stuff as well. So yeah, I still end up
Global
with
players, man. You guys are actually. I always hear, oh, it's so tough for us global players. You guys are living the life, man. You know, Ningen, we got top grossing rewards twice.
Yep.
With no box space, Amatsu. None. None.
Yeah, I was gonna say though, you know, it doesn't quite ring home when it's like, yeah, you global players are living the life over there. Yeah, playing World Tournament while you guys all play with Beast Gohan. Yeah.
Listen, we had, I think it was 4 or 5 consecutive World Tournaments on JP. Oof. So tough, buddy, tough.
And you said you haven't been able to use Beast Gohan, but I see a showcase center.
Yeah. Well, you know, we all did it. Come on, you know.
Okay.
I wonder how that was accomplished.
Let's not go there, shall we?
Yeah, Ningen, what's going on, man? What's up?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you, bro.
So yeah, World Tournament, good fun. Let's move swiftly on.
Fair enough. Is there anything else I'm forgetting then before we move on from gold? I don't think so.
I think
that
so.
is really it, right? Yeah. I mean, well, thank you, Funny Global, for your, weekly pop in the door just to make sure, letting us know that you're breathing another day. And now, speaking of the Beast himself, we can move on to, of course, the brand new 9th anniversary Part 2 units. Obviously, very, very exciting stuff. Of course, the first playable Beast in Dokkan Battle. Obviously, we have been waiting a long time for this day to come, right? Obviously, ever since the introduction of the Fizz Ultimate Gohan from a couple years ago now, which is so crazy to think about, but not to mention, just for a playable Gohan Beast himself, we have been waiting a long time. When I did that, my animation analysis video the other day, and I looked it up, and the Japanese release date for Superhero was June of 2022, which is just like insane to think about, because obviously, right, when it comes to past releases of, like brand new characters or forms for Dokkan, obviously, it's been a while, I suppose, since we've had like a brand new, transformation or character that would be like the equivalent. But obviously, when it comes to like UI Goku, right, and Gogeta, right, those guys were all implemented a lot quicker than the boy Gohan Beast. So it is very, very nice to see that obviously we finally have him in the game. And I would personally say that they definitely did him justice. I'll give my thoughts about the funny animations and all that stuff in a bit, but obviously I want to hear what you guys have to say about the unit. I think I have a pretty good idea the overall general opinion.
Yeah, he's alright.
Yeah, he's alright. Nothing crazy. Yeah,
I would say that he's the best Dokkan unit I've ever used the first day.
Really?
I've never. There's never been a better character day one that I've used. I wasn't playing when STR Gogeta came out. Like the day he came out, I wasn't playing. So like it's for him, maybe he was better, but for me the standard that like with my own hands I experienced was Kale and Caulifla, and Beast is above that.
Yep.
So
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I remember that arc, the Captain Khalifa arc. That was fun.
Yeah, people got so mad they actually could not accept how good they were.
They did not want to hear it.
Gohan and Goten came out, and they're like, "No, yeah, they're better." It's like, no, dude, they're not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah, that's wild. So, with his, I think it's safe to say that they did him justice, because I remember you, Truth, you were talking about. When we were obviously first talking about him, everybody was like, and I know you were a big proprietor of like, want him to just be absolutely insanely cracked, broken, disgusting, like bar none best unit in the game. And
well, it's always more fun for everyone when it's like that. The best example I can ever think of is Ginyu. Like when Ginyu was first announced.
Ginyu?
Yes. When Ginyu was first announced, the chat was filled with gold players saying, "Oh, that's going to be in, June before anniversary. That's an easy skip, baby. Let's go." But Ginyu was so good that by the time he dropped on global, everyone wanted him because he was so good. He was so hyped. And it's Ginyu. Like he's not like, like me and Garesh love him, but like most people don't love Ginyu. Yeah. So it's always more exciting when they make these characters just crazy like this, right?
Yeah. I would 100% agree with that. Yeah, it's very cool to see. And not only that, just for me, like obviously those of you who've been watching the podcast for a minute, I like Gohan Beast just a little bit.
Oh, really?
So obviously it's very exciting to see, not only that he's so good, but obviously, seeing everybody so excited about him, I think is another thing for me that I'm like, yeah, I'm eating right now, baby. It's so nice to see something that I love so much being so appreciated by the community. So, Minato, I know I have not thrown it over to you first technically yet. So, what are your thoughts?
I mean, he's just busted. What else am I supposed to say? He's invincible, and then at the same time, he's just doing these like stupid, really high attack stats. And his team is so stupid too. By the way, it's just all the best units in the game on his team. And then he's the perfect slot 1 character for all those units, like the Blue Falcon Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta, right? Getting his target skill is so easy because it's just always turn 3, and he gets like 1.3, 1.5 mil defense with 80% reduction in guard. How do you lose with them? I don't understand how you actually would lose with him if you're actually like trying to play, right? It's just no way. He's just too good. I mean, like,
you want to hear something funny?
Too. What?
Mm-hmm.
I encountered one moment where it was possible I could lose with him.
Ooh.
I fought Fusion Zamasu, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I killed his first phase turn 1, just killed him instantly.
I see.
Yep.
Then turn 2, physical Fusion Zamasu, and I had LR Ultimate Gohan on rotation, and it was very scary. It was very scary.
That's
very
funny.
scary, but I made it through. So.
W.
You so won. There you go.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing is it's like it's other people on the team. So it's like he's
Right.
always going to be fine,
Yeah.
but then you get to like certain
Yeah.
rotations, like if you don't have like in that instance where it's the turn 2, so even if you have the other beast on rotation, he obviously doesn't have the taunt yet. So it's just like, well, I know Beast's going to be fine. Nobody else sell the turn, please. Like,
It's so crazy because it's like you're able to run like Ultimate Gohan is still kind of a fraud, we all know.
yep.
But Beast helps him out with the key, and then it's like Beast is so good that you could run him just fine. And it's just mainly because they share 6 links. He gives them so much power. And even after his guard runs out, you have the target skill to protect him. Like I said earlier with Gohan and Piccolo, right? Just even floating them off without the reduction. As long as you're able to get past the first turn, you will always have the target skill to protect that floating character. Or Krillin and 18, or even the Gammas, right? If they haven't gotten all their attacks off. It's just really dumb how
Well, it's actually so crazy. So like Gogeta has his like target all active skill, right? But it forces all attacks towards him, and then he guaranteed dodges. So against stages that cancel dodge, it's like you don't want to use that, right? Because you're gonna draw the super attack towards him, which will kill him. But I found that if he's on rotation with Beast, and Beast has his, you could use Gogeta's, do the 20 million damage with it, then use Beast's, and his target all overrides it. So then Beast becomes the target. That actually pissed me off because that's how domain should work too. I don't know why they don't.
Yeah.
That's how domains. It's really dumb because then it's like, then you could have both rotations of Broly's transformed, or you could have Future Gohan with Broly on the same team and have them like all transform, right? So that's really dumb that domains don't work that way. But yeah, just Beast Gohan himself is just really stupid. I was gonna say a point. I was gonna make a point, but I literally forgot the point I was gonna make. So I'll just pass it on. Oh well, it happens.
Like
it is what it is right there, right? But I'm having a lot of fun using him, obviously. So that's really cool. And the one thing I was gonna say is that the only thing that can happen is because Beast like just tanks everything and it doesn't dodge. Like there's some bosses that get sealed now. Like there's the Soda Hope Trunks who stuns you. There's the his second phase seals you, and then like the AGOUI Goku fight, he also seals you. So like he's still susceptible to like being like attack lowered, sealed, or stunned. But it's not like that big of a deal at the end of the day. Well, it's like Gogeta could just like dodge them, right? But just something I felt like pointing out about that because it's really funny where it's like, oh yeah, Beast Gohan's eating all these attacks and then he gets sealed or stunned. You're like, oh well, He still takes 0 damage, but it's funny.
I do think that was a good way for Dokkan to try and expand difficult events without just being like, all right, now they hit 5 million attack sets, right? Is give the bosses like seals and stuns and stuff like that. Because remember that what is it? The collection of epic battles, the Gohan and Cell stun you for 9 turns or whatever it was.
Insane.
Yeah, that is insane.
Imagine a boss turn 1 and then he just stuns you for the rest of the fight.
I would love that. That would be interesting.
That'd
right?
be
That would be interesting, honestly. Who would that be? Who would the boss be for that?
Maybe like a Frieza with the death beam when it like shoots you.
Beast. It would be Beast. Beast Gohan.
There you go. You're just stunned by his presence, bro.
Yeah, because what do we think is going to be part 3 for the Supreme Battle Spectacle? Blue Gogeta, Beast, God Vegeta.
That's a good point.
Probably just gonna be Blue Gogeta and Beast Gohan, right?
I would think so, right? Because the Supreme Battle Spectacle, I'm not tripping, right? That's the blue zone that we always call it, right?
It could be 3 stages, right? Because how many stages are there? 6 right now?
There's 6, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
well, they've all been up until this point, haven't they all been Blue Goku and Vegeta, right? All right, well, there is Trunks. That's true. There's the Trunks.
I think Trunks is the hardest fight in the game too. By the way,
I do too. I think Trunks is the hardest fight in the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Somehow I swear I had the easiest time with him out of all the stages. I don't know how. But
it's
I think I
his
just
lock.
got lucky.
He locks. That's
that's fair.
It's the lock. Then he seals you. Then he's type covering the last phase. Right. That's really stupid.
Yeah.
And then the in phase is like the in phase is always going to super you in the first 2 attacks because he has a 60% chance to super you, and then he hits you for 3 mil, and then it's like okay, there's like very few units that could eat that. Beast Gohan's one of them, but it's it's really crazy.
The thing I was going to say when it comes to Beast Gohan and how like almost invincible he is, the closest I've seen to him taking even remotely like what we would consider the kind of damage that other units take. And even then, it was still hilarious. Like, I think it's so obviously we're going to talk about the new event in a bit more detail in a little bit after the units, but the new stages of the movie memorial thing, and you fight Beast Gohan. In the final stage, I'm not sure exactly what it is because he greatly raises his attack, but he hits for like, is it like nearly 3 mil or something? And his STR. So in slot 1 pre-super on turn 10, so obviously all of his like intro damage reduction is gone. No support or anything like that. So like the worst possible turn essentially for Beast Gohan. He got supered with that super in slot 1. He took like 200k. So like he just can't die. Like it's just absolutely ridiculous. So and obviously like, you know, the active skill turn and then post super, like someone in the chat was saying that a super attack would need to do on that turn, where he's obviously, you know, fully juiced, like a super attack would have to do like 8 million damage to actually do damage to him, which is quite interesting. So
you could
insane.
You could probably run Beast Gohan without Leader Skill in some teams, right? Because he's starting out with the guard and 60% reduction.
Yeah,
and then it builds up to the 80%, right? So I could see something like that possibly happening, right?
Yeah, it's like when Bulma came out, right? And people were running her like off lead because she was just that good at the time, right? He could probably do that as well.
I know, wasn't it you, Minato, who I saw you tweeting like that he's so good that like technically the TUR is also viable?
Oh yeah, the TUR is not even like the worst thing ever because the LR is so stupid.
That's crazy.
Like the TUR is not great or anything, but it's like he has guard, multiplicative stats. He's supporting key for everyone. Does an additional still. Like the LR's design is so good that the TUR, even without the damage reduction, is still like workable.
That's
crazy.
Really
funny to see, right? For
sure. That's insane. Yeah,
yeah.
So obviously, very, very good. I think they did him justice. Obviously, I know as well. Of course, to give my thoughts. Obviously, people have been very much so talking about his animations, which I know. So maybe a section that we'll have later in the episode today. We'll discuss them a little bit more, but obviously just to kind of cover it briefly while we're talking about the unit. Obviously for the animations, right? For the most part, they had to do Dokkan original stuff because, of course, he doesn't have that many things that he actually does in the movie. I think, right, because it's definitely, I understand where people are coming from, right? Or obviously, people are saying that, it kind of feels like to them that it's like, oh, they could have been better, or, they're not like insane or anything like that. I don't know. I know for me personally, I would still say that I think Broly, I still think he has like the top slot for animations, in my opinion, for this one. However, I still think they did a really good job with these animations. I don't think that they're like bad by any means. I think people are definitely blowing it out of proportion, and this could just be the Beast fanboy in me talking for sure, right? Like, I could definitely admit to that, but I do think with what they made, right, what they were able to cook up, I think they did do a very good job with it. And obviously the other, talking point that I know a lot of people are talking about that I actually wanted to hear your guys' opinion on this was the fact that they reused some of the animations from the Fizz Ultimate Gohan, right? Now, I feel like for me, right, and I was talking about this when I did that animation analysis video, that it's a little bit of a toss-up because it's like, on one hand, right, it's like, well, dang, this is a, anniversary character that is, reusing animations, right? Like a premium big boy anniversary unit. However, at the same
really
time,
that bad? Like,
I don't think
it looks so good, right? Like,
right.
Like,
well, so that was the thing that was like the other side that I feel like, I don't know, maybe people are just not thinking about it as much, but it's also like, well, how would they make the animations better? Because, the sections that they took from, the Fizz Gohan's active skill, right? It's like literally movie quality, basically. Yeah. So, how would they improve it? I know obviously people were saying they could have just done different angles, but obviously, you still want, like, to some extent to have it look like the movie, and have obviously like the references to the scenes in the movie. So I don't know. I personally think that for this very specific instance, right, it's not that like crazy of a thing because obviously, it's just referencing the movie, and I don't know how they would have made it look better. But regardless, I just wanted to hear what you guys had to say about it just because I was curious.
I mean, again, it's a thing where it's literally Beast Gohan and they're taking animations from the movie. So if they wanted to take animations from the movie, then it's like it's going to be the same as the LR Ultimate Gohan, which is on just the active skill still, right? It's like, of course, they're going to do an intro where he's transforming from the movie, right? And even if it's like taken and reused, it still is like some of the best animations in the game. So I personally don't really mind, especially because now it's actually us using Beast Gohan, right? It's the first one, so.
Yeah, exactly. And people complained about the fact that because we didn't have a playable Beast Gohan, it's like you'd only get to see that animation once when doing like the special beam cannon.
Right.
Whereas now you get to see it more. I do think it's funny that because isn't it his intro? It's basically the part from Gohan's active skill, but then there's one extra shot where it's like a close up of his hair just randomly put in the middle. But yeah, I want to hear what True thinks about it as well. The one thing I will say is that the thing I think it happens, I feel like this happens with things in general, and especially when it comes to Dokkan original stuff, even when they haven't done super in-depth original things. I think there's always going to be that like disconnect in your brain when you're seeing Beast Gohan do something that he's not done before. So it's just a new thing, right? So there's that disconnect, right? Like the animation itself might not be bad. It's just the fact that you're seeing something that we're not used to seeing, like that character do. And yeah, personally, I thought the Bojack reference thing, right? The 18 key super. I think that's awesome. So,
yeah. I just think another thing before we let Truth go is, no matter what, some people's expectations aren't going to be met because I think people in their mind had, well, obviously for good reason, the Beast Gohan is going to have the best animations, be the best character in the game, going to have the top tier best everything by far, right? So because the animations aren't like far and away the best animations in the game, people are like, oh, I expected more. When it's possible they set unrealistic expectations for what Dokkan was going to be able to do.
Right. That is fair.
Truth? I am the easiest judge of the animations ever. Like, literally, the only animations I feel like I was like would really just talk about how bad they looked was the RF Blues. That's like the only ones. Yeah, Goku. I thought Goku's animation looks so bad when Goku's attacking. But like besides that, like it's always good enough for me. Like I think all of Dragon Fist animations look great. It's just the dragon itself is a little wonky.
Yeah.
Right? But like,
that's the funny thing.
I love that 2017 PNG.
Like, I don't mind the animations being reused or like assets being reused. It's just that it's such an old asset they reused for that, and then they just like split it across there. Like at least the Gohan animations had like so much effort put into it. So it's like, okay, well, it looks really good still. That Dragon Fist is like they took a mouse and they moved it up.
Right, they dragged it in Photoshop and recorded it, bro, for real.
It's literally what they did with the in LR Gohan, where his art used to move up and down, and then just got bigger.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Certified Dokkan classic right there, bro. Classic.
But yeah, I think the main reason why I guess I could see people being disappointed with the animations is just because, like we'd said on the episode where we talked about them specifically, like Broly and Gogeta's ones are so good.
Yeah, they're crazy.
That, like, I guess that kind of set the expectation, because on the one hand, in older celebrations, we would say, oh, well, you know, don't expect the part 2 LRs to be as good as the part 1. But then now that we're getting the Dokkan X Carnival like format thing, you kind of are expecting the part 2 units to be as good as the part 1. And kit wise, obviously they are. So I think that's probably why people's expectations were so high. But as we suspected, right, he kind of had to have original animation stuff because he doesn't do much else in the movie. But one thing we haven't touched on actually, though, is the one thing even people I've seen say who are a bit disappointed in some of his animations. Most people seem to be pretty happy with the unit super overall.
Yes.
I think that's awesome.
I would say so.
I love the fact, the little touch as well, the fact that he does the kick from the movie, of course, but like Piccolo joins in with the kick part as well. Like, I think that's so good.
I was shocked, honestly, because I was like, oh yeah, you know, they're just gonna have it be like the 18 key, and they'll basically be like, you know, the Xenoverse cutscene where like he joins them for the special beam cannon. No. They were cooking way harder than that in the studio, which was really cool to see. And I don't know if any of you saw this or realized it, but I was watching one of the, like, you know, anime versus Dokkan comparison videos, and I actually didn't realize, like, almost like frame for frame, they combine. Obviously it was Gohan's special beam cannon from the end of the movie, but the one that Piccolo does when he's in Power Awakening when they're fighting the Gammas, they actually used that, and a lot of like the colors and like the little like streak that follows Piccolo's fingers, right? And a bunch of the like frames and whatnot from that. They like combine the two special beam cannons. So I thought that was really cool. And if that ain't the epitome of a unit super attack in Dokkan, I don't know what is. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, overall, right, I think they did a very good job with this. And I think as well, it's also just like, I know some people are thinking like, oh, well, you know, will they just do this again and reuse animations from the past? But I feel like this is such a like very specific instance that, like, you know, I think it just for this particular situation, it's just like, it is what it is and it works. So either way, though, that is the boy Gohan Beast, obviously, with part 2. We did get another unit, and of course, this being a Dokkan Fest X Carnival celebration, we have the Carnival LR Gammas. Now, obviously, people have not been talking about these guys as much as Gohan, because, of course, I mean, yeah, it's Gohan Beast. Like, what do you expect? So, with that being said, obviously, we want to shed a little bit of light on these boys. Truth, I actually don't think that I've seen you talk as much about these guys. So what do you think about the Gammas?
Yeah, I actually have not yet rainbowed them, because it's just like Beast is kind of like all of the hype. So like I was more focused on him. I did do like my whole 55% video, and I came away like really impressed. I think they're very good. And they're very good even at 55%, because the thing about these characters nowadays, right, is Like you could really feel a character being 55%, like if they can't like crit or be super effective against all types, or maybe if they don't have one of those good defensive mechanics. But it's like the Gammas, like they have damage reduction and crit and stuff everywhere. So it's like you're not really feeling like their lack of dupes. And I think what really helps Beast and the Gammas is their strongest asset. The condition is like the easiest ever for both of them. And that makes both characters so good that you don't really have to work to get the standby for the Gammas or the active for Beast. It makes the Gammas just so fun to run. And strong support as well, right? Like they're great, yeah.
Yes,
The really good thing is you only need the additional attacks to get the standby, or even their passive, right? So even if you grab the STR or AGL key spheres, you're guaranteed to get the standby as long as those attacks go off because they don't have to be supers. So
I actually got the standby on turn 2 today because I was below 70% and then go into turn 2 and was able to just instantly do it. Like that's really powerful.
I got that that's as crazy. Well, like once or twice too. And I used them in a bunch in some difficult stages here, and I did give them the 2 dupes in them, so I used them for a bit. They're nasty. I had Gamma one at the end of the Sort of Hope Trunks fight. Right, obviously we know that he can get up to the 80% reduction with the 5 int orbs. So I was able to give him the 5 orbs, and then he ate Sort of Hope Trunks' super for like 5k damage.
Dang.
Right, just in slot 1 before he super attacked. Which is I mean, with 80% reduction, you better hope that he would, but he ate that very well. So the Gammas could be very nasty, and it's a thing where I'm when I use them, I run like the double Gammas team. And then I actually got them together on rotation every single time because it's so easy to get the standby out, and then they're able to link with each other for the rest of the fight. They share all 7 links, right? And then that standby itself, it's super, super hard. The only thing about the standby that you could feel at 55% is the fact that it can't crit or be super effective. So, like, you can get the standby off, and it's like you don't crit, and then you can obviously feel the difference between it critting and not critting. So that's why I actually gave him I think I gave him like 22, 25 crit or something, because I want that finished skill to really crit for sure.
I think the Gammas are a character where there really is no wrong build. You could actually make a good argument for raw attack, raw defense, additional crit dodge. It all works really well on them because they're just so well designed, I think.
For sure. And then there's also the free orbs, the skill orbs that you get from the event too, right? So you're able to like give them those skill orbs, which I think are pretty nice in them, like the additional crit there. I definitely will take that for sure.
Absolutely. Ningen, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they're pretty good. Obviously, I just did like the advanced like showcase thing like everybody else after the data download. And of course, at that point, they were still glitched to have the post standby damage buff thing, which it was kind of funny because obviously on that turn just doing this complete double take, because it's like okay, so you know, we go back to Gamma 1, here's like a quick readout of his passive, and then he's attacking and doing like a 36 million attack stat. I was like, wait, what is happening? But yeah, obviously that was fixed with the update. But yeah, they seem really, really good. The animations are awesome. Both of these units just crazy. Definitely did not expect both of them to have superheroes leader skills, because obviously we talked about this last week, like speculating about what their leader skills could be. And it was one of those things where a lot of people speculated about we said this last time, but about Gogeta, it's like, oh, you know, they won't give him movie heroes because that's too crazy a team. And then they did. So I was like, well, I wonder if these guys are going to get superheroes. And they did. So absolutely crazy.
I wanted them to get accelerated battle was the category I wanted them to get.
I mean, I looked over some of the ones that they could get, and it's like accelerated battle would have been okay. Worthy rivals would have been terrible. Androids could have been interesting, I guess, but like, yeah, the accelerated battle is probably the only other category that was kind of interesting, but them just being a full-on superheroes leader is crazy.
I mean, I wanted superheroes 200%. So
oh yeah, sure. Like, because I mean, superheroes is just like, would we say that superheroes just hands down like the best team in the game now?
Oh yeah, there's with like... no contender. There's no contender.
Like, what other team would you say is like comparable?
Yeah, exactly.
The answer is nothing.
Because even any other, because like any other team that you can run Beast Gohan on is still good, but then you only have one Beast Gohan, so.
It's like
Right.
superheroes is so good with Double Beast Gohan that there's an argument that Orange Piccolo doesn't even make the best version of the team because you don't
Yeah.
what his main ability
I
is.
mean, I would strongly oppose that.
Really?
Like playing around with it myself. Like, yeah, no way. Having that third available is too good because I had many rotations where I'd load in, and it was like I actually killed the boss before Beast could get hit. Like just the way the fight played out. Like I fought
Right.
Goku Black, right? And he only attacked in slot 2. It was like 5 attacks in slot 2. That's the only spot he attacked, and I killed him before he could attack. Right, so it's
fair,
like,
right.
yeah,
And
like
then
I wasn't even able
Piccolo
to
would be
use.
there.
Exactly.
And then another thing is with Orange Piccolo, if you have the Gammas on the team, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but what you could do is you can grab let's say with the Gammas at the start of turn, you grab 2 Key Spheres, then you go into the Giant form. Then when you come back, you can grab 2 AGL Key Spheres, and that activates both parts of their passive. So you can get like 6 attacks with the Gammas.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
interesting.
there's a lot of shenanigans
That's
you
so
could do with
good.
giant forms. Like
That's
Broly,
the
Chila,
thing,
and
right?
Lemo, you could get their 7 orbs, giant form, and they still have it when you leave. Like Bulma support, you could proc it, do giant form, and it's still up, right? Like there's a lot of shenanigans you could do. Like Orange Piccolo still has the best active in the game by far.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the thing with Beast Gohan is that, like, you know, in that situation, he could, like I said earlier, he can still get sealed and stunned and everything like that. He doesn't affect AoEs, doesn't unlock your characters. But Orange Piccolo gets rid of the lock, basically. He gets rid of the AoEs. He also doesn't allow your characters to get like sealed or anything like that anymore, right? So it's like it is still a better active skill, and it'll also do damage, right? So I can see the reasoning for that. And I was using Orange Piccolo on the team. I used his giant form like once in the couple of runs that I've done so far, but maybe with more testing I'll warm up to him more on the team. I have been using him though. And another thing is that I really like the unit super attack, so I might just keep using him regardless, right? Because that one looks so good.
What's funny as well, though, is like the unit super can almost be counterproductive sometimes because it looks cool, but it has the same attack modifiers and everything. But then you action break after it, which means one of the attacks that will then be coming at Beast Gohan is then not going to be coming at him anymore. And I had a run I did earlier because I guess we could talk about hidden potential builds for these boys. Especially because this is probably one of the only units, Truth. I think I saw you say you wouldn't even give 3 dodge to Beast Gohan. Because I had
I did end up giving him 3 dodge just because I just have a weird thing. I gave STR Super Vegeta 3 crit. Right, like it's just I just want the 3 there.
Wait,
right?
but doesn't he have? He has 5 crit though, right? Because he's STR.
Oh wait, you're right. No, you're right. No, dude, there's
You're
some
a liar.
No, there's some character I did that with. Chat, you guys know. There's some character I did that with.
I guess I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that
Maybe
gets
like what,
guaranteed
Blue
crits.
Gogeta or something?
I've given
AGL Blue
every
Gogeta?
yeah. He does. He has three crit. Yeah, I've given every character like at least 3.
Yeah, I usually do that too. But because I had a situation where like the friend one had I think like 6 dodge, and there were two attacks in the only slot I could put him in with the enemy not dying because he was on turn 2, and he action braked one of the attacks and then dodged the other one, so he didn't get hit on the first turn, which is super annoying.
Yeah, I didn't give mine any dodge.
No, I think he is the one unit that you wouldn't, right? Because by the time an event comes out where he'll even take damage, like you'll have probably pulled enough copies to just change it by then. So.
I think
he makes dodge irrelevant. Yeah.
He's the first unit in like literally years I haven't given dodge to. It's like I don't know, like 2019 is the last time I didn't give unit dodge. He's just he doesn't need it. He really does not need it. It literally, like, if you dodge an attack or 2 before he's attacking, he loses quite a bit of damage. That's 40%, and then that's 40% crit chance as well.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like I don't know. You don't need dodge.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. Because on reading his kit, because he can build up so much of it, it's like, oh, okay, he doesn't need crit. But then in the early turns, if he's not getting hit a bunch of times before he attacks, because he might be getting hit a bunch of times afterwards, depending on the slot you're putting him in, then having that crit is more beneficial than not having it. Whereas dodge, it just doesn't really help him like at all. So he's just like full
Yeah,
additional,
and
and then all the nodes that are crit or dodge, you just give him crit.
like obviously you have to consider the fact that most of the time on turn 3 you're able to get the target skill anyways, and then he's like I said, over a million defense with guard and damage reduction. He doesn't take damage, and it's like you put him in slot 2, excuse me, and he's going to take all the slot 1 attacks, and then he'll be in slot 2, right? Or there's even situations where you're at the end of the fight, you put him in slot 3, and then you have him take as many attacks as possible. So he does like a huge like 25 mil attack stat into an additional guaranteed super, and he's just guaranteed critting. He's just he's really dumb on that target skill turn.
Yeah, he's crazy.
What a stupid character, man.
And then the thing is that like with the superhero team, right, if you've got double Beast Gohan, Gogeta and Piccolo, you have so many different things that you can do that just protect your turn. Like, yeah, it's just crazy.
You have the Gammas supporting, and then you have Gohan and why do I keep saying Gohan and Krillin for some reason? Krillin and 18 multi-turn support too. I think they're pretty good for the team.
Yep.
Funnily
enough,
like,
we got the image for them coming up next.
yeah, and then it's like we have the Blue Falcon Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta. We haven't even talked about it, so it's really funny. But actually, we got sidetracked and we're started talking about Beast now instead of the Gammas. But
I mean, just talking about the superhero team in general, right? Because obviously that is their leader skill. That's kind of how we got onto there. But
and it's like, even double Gammas as a leader skill is really good. You have like 2 of them floating. You still have like Beast Gohan, and then I guess like Orange Piccolo. Then you could have Gogeta, and then Blue Falcon Goku and Evolution Vegeta. And then I don't know. Again, the third floater could be like Krillin and 18 or something. And that works out very well.
I feel like it's just one of those situations though. Like if you did pull Beast Gohan, it's like, why would you not just be running like double Beast if you're running superhero?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
You're just trying to give yourself a handicap, I guess, because otherwise it'll be too easy.
I mean, it's literally is too. I like these new events I took with Beast Gohan, and it's just like no effort. And I'm like, I because I see the stats and I know how hard the bosses are, but then it's like I'm saying like, oh yeah, this is like easily like one of the harder fights in the game. But the Beast Gohan just like takes 0 damage. I'm like, well, we can ignore him, right? So that was really funny, but I mean, he's so good, that Beast Gohan, man. He's just too important for the team, and he's supporting me. It's stupid.
But yeah, the interesting thing I want to see is because the Gammas have the support. One of the things they support is joined forces. So I don't know if anyone's done it yet, but I kind of want to see what they would be like on the androids team, because they would support the physical LR androids, and obviously they share links like Android Assault and stuff like that. So them together on an androids team could be kind of interesting. I want to see somebody do that. So hit me up, one of you guys. Cook up that video.
All right. Give me a few days. I got it.
There you go. All right, well, since
ideas in my head, I got
since they're next up on the chalking block, chalking block, yep, the talking block, whatever you want to call it, bro. We have Krillin and 18, which obviously are the side banner unit for these guys. How are we feeling about this guy? This is definitely like I've seen nobody talk about these two. Minato, what are we thinking about these two?
They're just a good support unit. They're doing exactly what they want for the superhero team. But they have like 60% dodge chance. Then they provide a 2-turn 50% support buff for superheroes. You have to be above 50% HP at the start of turn. But here's another thing. Again, we were talking about like Orange Piccolo. Like, you know, like Truth said, he very much still is likely in the team. Because of the fact that like what you could do with this character is you could be under 50%. Then you could grab same type orbs and heal above 50%. Use Orange Piccolo's active skill, and then when you come back, that actually reactivates their support, apparently. So you could do that, right?
Yeah.
And that 2-turn support, you feel it. 50% for 2 turns is a lot, especially for, again, a character like Beast Gohan, LR Ultimate Gohan even, right? They're just good. I just don't really, like, I can't look at them and be like, oh, I have an issue with this part in their kit. They're just doing exactly what they want to do, and pretty nicely. I like the mechanic where it's like they get a pretty big stat buff right there, 180% before receiving the attack. So it's like they could receive an attack, and then it's like they're good for that specific attack they receive. compared to not having that at all, which I think is interesting, I guess, right, for a dodging character, where it's like, okay, they dodge, but then you have that one attack where you're safe. Kind of like Yajirobe a little bit, right?
Yeah, because truth, weren't you saying you'd only just awakened them? I think before we started here.
Yeah, I've had very little time to like use them, but I do like their concept. They were given a major weakness, but it's a weakness that Gohan will protect them from having. So again, everything with the 9th anniversary is just designed very well.
Yeah, because the thing for them as well, like obviously they are that very key, like that we're very cut and paste, not cut and paste, but cut and dry, very sort of set. They are a support unit, right? So if you see, like in terms of their performance, their defense isn't particularly crazy, their attack stats aren't particularly high, but they are just there to be a support. They've got dodge to kind of as their main sort of defensive ability. And yeah, they just kind of fulfill that role of a classic support unit. They're not going to be... Their own performance is nothing particularly impressive, but it's what they provide to the team. Because 50% support is already well and good, but the fact that it's for 2 turns as well. So, yeah, and obviously all of that adds up when you have Beast Gohan doing his thing and then getting 50% support as well. So,
what I was doing is I had this character on the team, I had Gohan and Piccolo on the team, and then it's like multiple turns we're getting basically 80% support, even though those characters weren't on rotation. And then at STR Kaba, so it's like, oh, I'm getting basically 130% support to Beast Gohan on that specific team build because like they're providing multi-turn and so are Gohan and Piccolo. So it can get pretty nasty if you run the right units. Multi-turn support is just stupid too.
Kabe is very stupid,
Yeah, because like all you have to do is run the Beast Gohan leader, and then put like future Gohan on the team, and you get his full passive.
Yep. Yeah, because Kabe gets his 170 from Gohan because he's
it's just master disciple.
Yeah, so he's pretty good for that as well. Because that's the other great thing is we just keep obviously cycling back to Beast because he's just so goddamn good. But the fact that he barely needs any orbs as well. So even on rotations, like if you have Kabe on the team, you don't have to worry about, I've got this big cluster of STR orbs here, but I need to get my super for Beast Gohan. Because by the time you get to like his 2nd or 3rd turn, you need like 1 orb to get 24 ki. So he's just absolutely ridiculous in almost every facet of his design.
But then if anything, those leftover STR orbs could be given to the Gammas.
Yeah, true. The question that sort of comes up is, like, I guess I've seen people say this, like, because Gohan is just so good, is the question is like, where do they like go from there? Like, what is the next unit going to have to look like? Or is the next unit going to almost, because obviously for JP, the next unit that's going to come out after the anniversary is over will be the first Dokkan Fest TUR that comes out post-anniversary. Which last year was STR 17s, and we all know how that went.
Your go.
Look, I'm telling you, I think Broly, best TUR upcoming.
I think Super 17 probably, the dust settles, he's like the worst Dokkan Fest of the year, right? Like a lot of the other ones can be, with the new 9th anniversary content, a lot of the other ones can be salvaged.
Yeah.
Super 17, like...
Who's on GT bosses?
Woo!
Oh, yeah, of course. Man.
Yeah, because like I tried him out in some of when that super class content came out. I think I did the first stage of the Blue Zone where you fight all the different Goku like forms. Well, they're like god forms. And yeah, like he gets the extra super, which gives him that little bit of extra chance to dodge, but it doesn't really do much to plug those massive holes in his design. Like the fact that you take so long to get Super 17 even to come out, if you even can, because of the HP threshold. And as the rest of the team's gotten better, like as the Android team's got buffs and gotten like the 21s and the physical Androids EZA, 13 EZA, that team's gotten so much better that it becomes even more difficult to be below the HP threshold to actually get the transformation for Super 17 in the first place. So yeah, I think he's definitely super disappointing for last year.
With Super 17 is that like I was trying to do the GT bosses versus Trunks, right? And they were locked in slot 1, and then I had a fuse with them. I was like, okay, well they should be okay. But then no, they just ate like 190k normal or something from Trunks. And the first attack, they're like what 90%, and they just instantly died. And I'm like, oh, thanks, right? And it's like at that point, I'm like, would I rather like leave them unfused, where they have the dodge and they're floating as a like dodging character,
Yeah.
rather than fuse with them and then they have to take 10 attacks and their defense is not enough to even tank. Like,
Yeah.
it's so dumb.
That's
That to
fair.
take
Yeah.
10 attacks after that.
I don't know what they were thinking with that.
They
So
they
bad.
should have had just the 50% reduction and then guard for the first 4 turns, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really dumb. Really dumb.
I don't know, like, even from the perspective of, like, you know, obviously not as many people are going to, you know, like, summon on the banner after the anniversary, but you would think that they would want to make it, like, more appealing, because it's like, oh, well, you know, you just summoned for the anniversary, but look at this cool guy right here. Oh,
Yeah.
spend your money. But, like, they literally just like, nah, bro, take a break. We're benching you for this month.
Well,
I
that's,
mean,
that's
yeah,
kinda
they
what they're
usually
doing,
go for like a
right.
lower hype
They do,
type
yeah.
character.
They
Yeah.
do, yeah.
Because it's been Trunks and Goten, Super 17, Ginyu,
Yeah.
I guess
That's what I'm saying.
Beerus.
Again, Bio Broly's next. I'm telling you, right? We're gonna get Tech Broly's
God.
EZA. Bio Broly's coming out. Perfect.
Oh no.
We'll fit Broly's team.
Lord,
don't know
Lord Slug. That's my pick.
Lord.
I'd be down. I know there's a couple people who have been advocating for.
Well, I think
Lord
Lord
Slug.
Slug and like Baby have been two really popular extreme unit like things that people want for to be a new Dokkan Fest. Mainly just because both of those characters, the number of categories they're on and the links that they have, like a new Dokkan Fest version of them would be really good for villain teams, like not just their own team that they would make. So even if it's not like people's favorite character, like a Lord Slug Dokkan Fest would be such a good buff for a bunch of extreme builds.
Lord
very
Slug
good.
with a giant form is gonna go hard.
Yeah.
True.
He's gonna go crazy. Imagine Lord Slug with like a turn 3 giant form like Orange Piccolo. But for villains. He's like on every villain team.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah,
That'd
exactly.
be
Yeah.
so good.
That would be dope. All right, well, I think that is it for anniversary characters. Obviously, with you know, the Boy Beast and the Gammas, we had plenty to discuss. I'm sure we'll somehow round back to Beast again later on in the
That's always nice,
podcast.
then.
Oh yeah, it's inevitable, bro. It's inevitable. But
It's like, you know how like we talk about God Goku every podcast? That's gonna become Beast.
God Goku mentioned, let's go.
I was gonna say you literally just said that so that he could be mentioned in this episode, didn't you?
That's crazy.
Shout out to
That's
Annie.
crazy. Goated. All right. Well, anyhow, obviously we have discussed them a little bit thus far, talking about bringing these characters into set events. But of course, with the advent of the part 2, we did get a bunch of new content in the game. So, Minato, I know earlier you were like, I got you, dog. So I'm tossing it to you, bro. Tell us about these events.
So, I mean, the real only like, I mean, there was like the skill orb event that returned for the superheroes skill orb event, which is pretty nice, right? But besides that, the only actual other event we got was the additions to the Dragon Ball Super Memorial Battle. And that's obviously adding the stage for the Gamma 1 and 2. And then it's actually Gohan and Piccolo. It's not just like Gohan by himself. You also fight Piccolo in the event, which is I think that's cool, right? If having like different enemies in there rather than it just being Gohan. Especially because we'll likely get a stage against just Gohan later on in the anniversary still. This is the event where you're able to get the skill orbs for the Gammas. You want to do both stages without any items, and then one character of each type. And I had a lot of fun doing the events. I think that both of the stages are interestingly designed. I feel like these are pretty difficult stages here. In particular, I think the Gamma stage might actually be a little harder than the Gohan stage, because like early on it's a little more difficult, and then I find the Gamma 1 and 2, like when they're pre like standby, they're just like kind of dumb. They're double supering you for like 2.8 mil damage, and like the third
Jeez.
phase is stupid. Really dumb. A really fun fight though, for sure. And it's a longer fight. It is 5 phases, right? Even though
Both
it
feel very long. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Because the thing with the Gammas fight is that, you know, obviously there are 5 phases, but Beast Gohan at the end has 120 million HP, right?
That's crazy.
That's like more. That's like as much as HP as the Fusion Zamasu fights both phases together or something.
Damn.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of HP. Maybe under that, but that's a lot of HP that Beast Gohan does have at the end. So that's why it like feels so long, even though it's just the 4 phases.
Yeah.
And again, both of the bosses are doing like close to 3 mil damage on their super attacks by the end. So that's really crazy as well. But yeah, they're tough. I think they're tough for sure. I feel like Trunks is still like comparatively a harder fight. Like if we're talking about like comparing to other bosses, but these two might be like top 5 hardest fights in the game for sure. I'm thinking.
You know what's funny is where I ran into trouble with the Gohan fight. When I got to Beast, I just blew him away. It was effortless, right? Like I had Dragon Fist out, so I just took that the scary big super and just fisted him with the dragon, right? Like get that out of here. Piccolo locks, Orange Piccolo locks, and that's what kind of messed me up and gave me trouble was Orange Piccolo.
Yeah, and the thing with Orange Piccolo lock specifically is that correct me if I'm wrong, but giant form, like, doesn't it usually like just alleviate the lock? Like usually it's just like taken away, right?
So okay, like you're saying if you use Orange Piccolo's giant form.
So because in this fight, if you use the Orange Piccolo giant form, the lock could still stay, right?
Well, okay, so against Trunks, if you use it, it like resets it. So like when you leave, so let's say you start the turn and like, you know, sort of hope Trunks is locked in slot 1. So you use Orange Piccolo's giant form. When you leave the giant form, it's like basically refreshed and he will lock one of the 3. But what you can do is if you remember where the characters were, you can move the Orange Piccolo faces and that will move the character. So like you know, you can use the giant form to get around locks. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if you have, like Truth said, your Sword Hope Trunks is locked in slot 1, you just have to move the first character back to the 3rd slot, and then you basically free Sword of Hope Trunks. So you just have to remember where they are under the actual faces, and then you're good. So like that could help you alleviate like your slot 3 character getting locked in slot 1, and like that fight, the Sword of Hope Trunks fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, another thing about the Gohan fight is that like there are scripted actions, so you know where the super attack is going to be every time. Like in the Gohan Beast fight, the super attack is always going to be the 5th action, and then after that, it's always going to be the 13th action, right? And you could having the ability to know that, knowing where the super attacks are, even without a scout or anything, really helps you a lot in terms of how to place like the characters. Whereas like the Gamma's fight, the hardest hitting phase, you don't know where it's going to be. There's no scripted action for that, right? Which does in turn make the Beast Gohan fight a little easier too, even though it's like such a long event, right? I mean, it being a long event too helps you get, like you said, Dragon Fist out, the target skills, the giant.
You have
form,
everything,
right?
Broly, right? Like that was the thing. Like Broly took off half a Beast's health in one volley, right? Like, yeah, see ya, kid.
Yeah, yeah, getting that like double Broly rotation and having Broly transform just absolutely annihilated the
I tried, but Piccolo kept me from doing that.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's the event where I said about that getting Gohan to eat a super like turn 10. So it's like, yeah, that event can be quite long. I think the entire run for that Beast Gohan stage, or Gohan and Piccolo, it was like 25 minutes or something for the total actual run. So it's quite cool to get these longer events. We've kind of been looking forward to that for a while. But these ones they're kind of like the extremes of both, right? Like we're getting the longer events that we wanted, but then they're also, by the time you get to the final stage, the boss is hitting you so hard that there are only so many units that can really stand up to some of those attacks. It's one of the things I was thinking about when playing these new events is we're getting a lot of these bosses now where we kind of very much were already in that meta with the worldwide celebration Red Zone. And it was one of the reasons why people started to complain very quickly about the Boo Duo after their release, where we'd already kind of got to this point where raw defense was not really enough anymore for big bosses, even characters that were getting up to like 1,000,000 raw defense, if they didn't have any other defensive tech, like that just wasn't enough. And now we're getting bosses that are hitting even harder than that. So like now to actually tank a super, like your tanks actually have to have like damage reduction, guard, like all this other crazy stuff, or dodge. Otherwise you actually just can't survive getting hit by these attacks, which is crazy.
Bosses are hitting for 3 mil damage.
Yeah.
Like we had Android 16, right? And Android 16 got to like what 2 mil damage, and it's like, oh, we're able to freaking like tank any super at 16, you're fine. And it's almost like, oh no, right? And then it makes sense. It's like we saw the Super Saiyan Trigger come in, like they're so good. The androids, Hirudegarn and Goku were really good when they came out. And then
yeah, we love Hirudegarn. He's great.
Oh yeah, you're Hirudegarn's biggest fan, aren't you?
Dude, Hirudegarn is that guy, man.
You can't stop bringing him into all your events, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, listen, I know they open the video, they see Hirudegarn, and they perk up. I promise you that.
They're like, oh, it's time to get my food. There's going to be a show, dude. They're ready. Dude, Hirudegarn, your dodge luck is like really weird with him.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows like, oh, like I'm a great dodger or whatever, but Hirudegarn just doesn't dodge for me ever. Like it's crazy, yeah.
Bro hates you. That's wild.
Because like I'm using UI sign and he's untouchable, right? Blue Gogeta can't be touched, but then Hirudegarn is just getting crushed. That's so weird.
It's funny because he's the one character that can get the guaranteed dodge too.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, he has to dodge a certain number of times, right, within the turn, and then he gets guaranteed dodge. Yeah.
The next turn, yeah, he just has to dodge 3 times.
Imagine
like, if that did like loop though, that would have been crazy.
I wonder if it's a side effect. Just to talk about them very quickly, I know, like you were saying, you use Dragon Fist in the Beast event and stuff, but like, I don't know if it's just the side effect of being the thing that comes out right before the anniversary, but I feel like people just immediately stopped talking about Goku and Hirudegarn.
Yeah. Well, I think people are really mad at the Dragon Fist animation, so I think most people just have turned on him. But he's like super good. He like, I mean, this thing, he is incredible on Broly's team. And every time I bring him, people tell me I don't know what I'm doing, but like he's so good. Like he like there's no risk with him. He's crazy. Like he just pretty much just has a scouter like the whole way through these events. Like it's really busted.
Yeah, Dragon Fist Goku is just so good. He's probably, I mean, he's the most like for how good he is. He might be the most under talked about character right now. Because like
I agree. Yeah.
Like, yeah, because like,
so good.
Obviously from the global perspective, he's probably coming out in like April. And like I'm really excited to summon for him. Like I like as much as the animations are not quite what people expected, I guess. Like I like his super attack animation. You know, I like it when they do things a little bit different, and it's, you know, people say it's just a slideshow of like the forms as he does the Kamehameha, but like I think that looks cool.
I think it looks cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
It's
like no I'm excited to summon for him. Like I want to get him, but like nobody talks about him anymore apparently.
It's crazy because like obviously villains have less like characters to choose from, so Hirudegarn is talked more, but it's crazy when you have Hirudegarn talked about more than Dragon Fist Super Saiyan 3 Goku.
True.
And that's how you know people were upset about the animation.
Yeah.
Because like if the animations were as good as people wanted it to be, everyone would be talking about that guy. Like people talk about Hirudegarn more than him, right? It's kind of weird.
Yeah. No, they
you
do.
would not expect that because people want, you know, people have been asking for a new Dragon Fist for years. Right?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, and not to mention Hirudegarn, you know, is sort of a long-standing meme in the Dokkan community from, you know, his whole dodge shenanigans, especially when, like, you know, the event initially came out.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that also helps.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, when it comes out on global, people will talk about it more, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe. I think it depends.
Like, oh my god, it's gonna be like physical beer. So people are like, "Why did no one talk about how good this character was?"
We did.
Yeah, because especially if you're saying he's on Broly's teams, is he on the full 200 for Broly?
Yeah,
I'm not even sure.
So.
I could double check.
Because he's because Broly's 200% is like the buff is to Exploding Rage movie bosses, right?
Is he on
Yeah,
it?
so he's not on it. He's not.
No,
on
okay.
No, he is on the 200% because Hirudegarn is on.
No, we're talking about Goku.
Dragon Fist. Yeah.
Oh wait, Dragon. Oh no, Dragon Fist is not on.
Yeah,
It's my bad.
I was gonna say because it will be one of those things, right? Where it's like because he's gonna come.
Whoa! Minato, Dragon Fist is on Broly's team. He's not on the 200%.
Well, he's not on the 200%. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
Hey, Minato, get it together, buddy.
Like sometimes I fraud out there's like you. I'm sorry about that.
Oh no.
You're rubbing off on me right now just by being here.
Or there's someone saying in the chat about when Super Saiyan 4 Goku came out on Global and everyone turned on him, but that's unfortunately because he's one of those units that suffers from releasing after the worldwide celebration on Global. And so a unit that came out where his whole kit is basically, hey, stick this guy in slot 1, and then he gets killed by slot 1 supers from the events that came out in the worldwide celebration. So it's like,
he was done so dirty.
Global didn't get Omega until January. He was designed for the fight, right?
And then Omega was the hardest fight when he came out. So that's the thing. Though Super Saiyan 4 Goku, you could probably use him next to Broly, and he probably works pretty well actually because they share.
Especially in the new fight against the Gammas and Beast, he's gonna be really good in those fights.
Yeah, right. It's such a long fight. He'll be able to get his full passive and everything.
Yeah,
he'll cook for sure.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is can we obviously talk about, because we're talking about new events just in general now, the fact that we touch wood, we don't want to jinx it or anything, but with all the new content that's come out during the anniversary, apart from I think Wheelo, but his stage is not particularly hard and it's right near the end, we're not getting big AoE bosses currently. So many units that have come out in the last couple of months are actually getting a chance to be sort of reused again, right? Because they don't get their defense or whatever until they super. But now it's fine because the bosses aren't doing AoEs on turn 1 anymore.
I mean, until Supreme Battle Spectacle Gogeta does.
Yeah.
1 million damage super turn 1 coming.
It's gonna be Supreme Battle Spectacle Beast Gohan, and he does turn 1 800k AoE attack.
Bro, it made no sense, dude. AoEs have been around forever. They've always been, tough when bosses have it, but they're crying about it this year. Oh my god!
I think it's just because of the what's the word I'm looking for? The balance.
Baiters?
The balance.
The baiters?
No. It's the balance of them releasing an event. I guess for Global, it really doesn't help as well, right? Because of the order of the schedule. But it's they release an event that is the new hardest event in the game that does AoEs on turn 1. And then the next 3 big releases are all units that are terrible against AoEs. So it's just
people are saying Fusion Zamasu ruined the game more than Broly did. Ruined.
No offense, but that's the silly Billy Global players. You know how that is.
No,
dude, I had Ginyu against Broly and I beat him, but Fusion Zamasu.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, nobody no itemed Broly for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I didn't no item him until Super Saiyan 4 Goku got his EZA.
Mm-hmm. You needed him because that the active skill and the STR
phase. You couldn't survive the AoE. Broly's AoE.
Yeah, it's crazy.
in order to get through, you basically had to get lucky and then kill him before you could do it.
Yeah.
The first team that was able to really comfortably no item Broly, I think every single time if you really put the effort into it, was Goku Gohan's team. I remember it was my first or second attempt. I got that no item.
Cell's team could do it pretty comfortably too.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of them. Yeah, because remember Sora, we tried for hours.
That's literally the tweet I was thinking of. Yeah. We tried for hours to make him work in the Broly event, and then Minato comes along with a 55% one and no items here.
Minato does it first try, I do it second try. It's it didn't take us hours.
Yeah, it's so easy. I was so confused. It's they were running these
Namek Goku, dude.
Yeah, they're running Namek Goku and all these teams that made units that made the team go super fast, and it's you want to build up the character, right? Oh, that was funny. That was a good day.
Yeah. Well, it's all about, that's the thing, is it's all about building to the strengths of the team itself, right? You're not just oh, well, I'm going to put all these super hard hitting characters on the team that kill the boss in 1 turn. Oh, why is my unit that needs 5 turns to build up getting me killed? It's like, well, you kind of have to find
Namek
that
Goku
balance.
The GOAT.
Dude, shout out to Namek Goku though. Remember his brief resurgence when the Cell Max event came out? You love to see that.
Dude, that's still my highest view video on my channel. It's like what 62K views.
Damn.
It's double Namek Goku versus Cell Max.
That was great.
That's funny.
That was fun.
Yeah, I remember I had a couple of good rants about Namek Goku. I love him.
Hey, he's gonna probably EZA this year, maybe. We could see him EZA, maybe. That could be
Maybe. I mean, he's pretty deep into 2021. Right?
Yeah, because it's that's the worldwide after Vegito and Buhan, right? So in theory they should EZA first. But
oh my god, that Vegito and Buhan! You look at how crazy these Dokkan Festival EZAs have been. Oh my god.
Yeah, you get the same people.
10th anniversary.
You get the same people that designed the Blue Kaioken and Blue Evolution EZA to do Buhan and Vegito, and then boy,
for real.
Dude, imagine like if it's 10th anniversary, it's like all fusions. Then we get S-Tier Vegito, Physical Buhan, Tech Gogeta, Super Janemba, and then in part 3 we get the year 7 fusions. EZAs.
Man, that would be crazy.
That would be wild.
That could be like the best anniversary by far. It could be so crazy.
I just I can't even imagine already I mean I guess it's not that far fetched, but the 7th anniversary guys already getting EZAs just sounds so insane.
Yeah,
but it really isn't,
know.
I guess.
Yeah. In a year from now,
because you can still get away with using them kind of depending on the event, right? Sometimes they can still they're going to get caught against certain phases depending on the typing and stuff like that. But I mean you can still get away with using them, but the fact that they'll get an EZA in a year's time, and the 5th year fusions were great when they got theirs. The 6th year, hopefully, we'll find out fairly soon. Hopefully they'll be super
next
good
week,
too.
right?
Yeah, it should be next week.
It's going to be very interesting to see how powerful some of these EZAs are. I think that's one thing we should talk about a little bit as well, just across the board. All the EZAs in the anniversary so far have been good, right? I think that even the worst one, I would say overall, even though they're still good, is probably Bardock and Ningen. But they're all
The
good.
worst one is base Gogeta, buddy.
Well, yeah, okay, fair. Yeah, the login Gogeta, yeah, true.
I don't know. I don't think that counts.
The summonable units, right?
All the summonable EZAs have been insane, right? Well, Bardock and Ningen and then Perry's and Broly, they're good sub EZAs, right?
Yep.
But Broly Trio, S-Tier UI, Blue Kaioken, and Evolution Blue, especially them. I actually would be will AGO UI and Blue Evolution be better than them? Genuinely,
I think so. Yeah, their anniversary.
You
I
think
think
so?
so. Yeah,
That would be crazy,
dude. Vegito and Gogeta are still good.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
It's another thing again, the byproduct of the AoE thing, right? People turned on them with their EZAs because they're not good against AoEs because they have to attack in turn 3 to dodge. But in events without AoEs, they're still really good. So
yep.
I mean, I've seen people say that they're good for the Trunks fight because it's even if they get locked in slot 1 versus Trunks, you float them off instantly and then they'll be on their turn with the guaranteed dodge. So even if they're locked in slot 1, they're guaranteed dodging there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've used Gogeta pretty effectively in there, the 5th anniversary one.
Mm-hmm. Right. I guess Vegito could have triples at the end, right? Because he's type disadvantage, but
yeah, I'm not running
good
him
in that fight.
No.
Yeah,
we're not running him.
Yeah, it's a unit that you can, especially with some of these turn 4 active skills and transformations and stuff like that. It's just a unit that you can just float off on the first turn, and then when they come back again, they cannot be hit. It's how can you complain about that, really?
There's a lot of viability about them, and I think it's really nice that again they're not doing as many AoE bosses during this anniversary still, just because they get a lot better. I mean, if only their dodge was start of turn, they would actually have been still really good against Fusions Zamasu.
Yeah, because if you put them in slot 3 and then it's still just locked in, it was right, they're in slot 3, so they have dodge. Then people would have probably still kept that same level of praise. And of course it helps with Gogeta being a new unit and transforming to blue, so it makes the perfect partner for him to run on that team as well.
It was just a thing where people took the Fusions Zamasu difficulty and ran so far with it more than it actually was.
Yeah. True.
But yeah, it's definitely good to see less AoEs, just so some of these other units can shine, because it's all right for some events to have it, but it's one of those things, if it becomes the norm, they need to then reflect that in the designs of the units that are coming out, right? Because
Right.
it's no point really. That's again, like, it goes back to kind of from that global perspective. It's like characters are coming out that are just not good in the in those events, so it gives you kind of less incentive to summon for them, right? Unless they're your favorite characters or anything like that. So
Right.
it's
The evolution Vegeta, man, he's gonna be so nasty. Like,
Yeah, I
what
hope he's crazy.
what if he gets like up to like, I don't know, 70% reduction? It's like he has guard in the first turn, then once he builds up, he can get up to 70% reduction, and he keeps that for the rest of the fight.
That's like the biggest change they can make for him, right? Is him not losing the damage reduction at the end of each turn, actually getting to
It's
build
like-
up to a specific amount and then just go from there.
There's no reason for him to lose the reduction, and we are getting a lot of characters that have guard plus reduction. So I wouldn't be surprised if they give him
True.
like guard for the first like turn or even like 3 turns.
Mm.
So it's like, okay, you build up the reduction while he's still guarding, kind of like how Gamma 1 is like, right? Where you build up the reduction while you're still guarding, and then after the guard runs out, you have your reduction still. And then they have the revives, which they can change the revive conditions for them because it's not like
Yeah,
tied
it's
to
in
one.
their
Well,
passive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Vegeta's in particular could be really good
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, Minato UI needs to get hit, and that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Unless what they could do for UI is that they can make it where it's like you have to get hit 3 times, or he could dodge 7 times. Because that's why I was saying like they could change the revive skill. So what if it's like if he dodges like 7 to 10 times or something, then he can get the revive rather than only having to get hit.
Mm. Yeah, because is it Vegeta has to get hit 7 times or something, right? So
Yeah.
Goku
right.
could still be the lesser hits, but because he dodges a lot, he could make it 7 dodges instead or something, which would be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
because they are able to update those because
But
it's just in the passive.
But that Vegeta one could obviously become really useful, because if his one is for taking a bunch of hits, but then his Easy A does actually make him like a really good solid tank for the team, then yeah, he can take all those hits and build up to that revival, and then have it actually be like a really useful ability. So that's something I'm definitely looking forward to seeing.
And hopefully they add something to make his active skill actually like
Yeah.
in his passive, make it so like, you know how like the Blue Falcon Goku and Evolution Vegeta, like the physical LR, obviously they got a part of their passive where they get like the damage reduction on the active skill.
Yeah.
They should like add something in the passive where it's like he crits or something.
Well, yeah, just guarantee crit at 24 key, same thing. Because active skill will activate the whole passive, right? So bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that something like that could work. Though to be fair, it's like guarantee crit at 24 key. It's like they already have the 50% crit in their super attack effect. So would they give them that? It'd make the super.
I mean, it
attack
might
effect
as well,
sweet.
just because
All
I
right,
guess it would
all
affect
right.
the active skill, right?
All right, Minato. So at 24 key, they give 2 turns support. Bam. There you go.
GG.
Dang, cooking.
That'd be super good, yeah.
Dude, that'd be
That's
insane.
crazy.
They can make these guys really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
I'm excited for them too. All right, well, speaking of the Easy A's, I suppose we can move into a little bit of speculation on part 3. I know that at the moment it is, basically just like, we're just obviously thinking that the Easy A's will be coming. But is there anything else that you guys suspect will be coming in part 3 of the celebration?
Yeah.
We'll get the update to the anniversary. Like they
Well-
said that they're gonna get skill orbs for the Broly, the Gohan. It could be a new event, but it could just be an
Wait, they
update to
did
the
they did
anniversary.
say that somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
that was
did,
in the
yeah.
news. That
I missed
they are
that,
getting
okay.
the skill orbs. Yep.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. So probably just a new the anniversary battle stages then, huh?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw somebody saying that it's like the event itself is not being updated. and it's
Yeah,
just- it might
no,
be like
apparently it is a
separate
brand
thing,
new event.
but,
Yeah.
Which is
I
weird.
just know that the skill orbs are being introduced. I mean, it could just be like 9th anniversary battle, and it's separate from the 8th anniversary battle.
And it just has one stage, yeah.
Yeah, just the
Which
one
would be
stage.
so stupid, but fair enough, I guess. You
Yeah.
I
know,
mean, it would be funny.
it would be a classic Dokkan move.
Yeah, because I think it's somewhere in the news here. I have to find it.
I'm looking for it too. I missed that. I didn't see that.
Because I think it's in the banner announcements, like for the Beast Gohan banner. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so it says we're planning to hold an event later where you can get EX skill orbs exclusive to Gohan Beast and Super Saiyan Broly. It's in this link. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that sounds like it still could just be new stages to the anniversary battle, right? Like,
yeah, because like, even though it's an updated event, it'll still be named like probably 9th anniversary battle. Because right now it's like named the 8th anniversary battle, isn't it?
Yeah, the actual event. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Last year was actually like in the last week of the anniversary, so we could still be like 2 weeks away before seeing it.
Yeah. What that was like? It was like February 28th or something like that, wasn't it?
Yep.
Like it was literally the last thing of anniversary.
Yeah, the skill orb thing. Because it was what was the main? Because the part 3 was mainly just the actual EZAs for the previous anniversary LRs, right? That was kind of like the main thing for part 3.
There was that, the Sin Shenron fight. There was the burst modes. Although this year burst mode is up right now.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is that the rainbow tickets are going to be available in part 3, right?
Yeah,
which
you
you
can summon on the main banners.
Yeah, 77 unit multi on. Dude, everyone, if you don't have Beast Gohan, do it on Beast Gohan. Like,
yeah. Even if you pulled a copy of Beast Gohan, do it on the Beast Gohan banner. Get a dupe, yeah. Because that's the other thing.
He is just that cracked.
I mean, he has like 2 dupes, and then you have everyone else like a 3 dupe or something. You know?
This is what I was saying about when we were talking about the super tickets, right? It's like there will be people out there that will pull Beast Gohan off of those like 77 ticket summon thing, which is crazy.
And like, think about it like this, right? Like, because obviously what they did for that was they took like the usual, like multi that we get, and then they just like changed it into, like this, where you can use it on the main banners, right? Obviously, I know people probably don't think about it like this as much because it's like, oh, tickets. But realistically, right, they're giving out what? How many multis would that? Well, so that'd be like 6, and then obviously the 7 characters. So that's what, like 50, 100, 200, 300, and like 50-ish, right, stones that they're just basically giving you to use on any of the anniversary banners. Like, honestly, that is insane to me.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, the actual, like, the 77 unit ticket summon from like the previous years, wasn't it like a guaranteed LR? So like, are they gonna have something guaranteed?
That's
Imagine at the end it's a guaranteed featured character.
That would be insane.
Like a guaranteed
that
featured
would
LR.
be insane.
That
Yeah, so
would
because
be
that's still obviously like to be determined. If anything is guaranteed. To be honest with you, as much as it would kind of suck, I would not be surprised if they just had nothing guaranteed on that, because obviously, what they're giving out is like just so insane.
Yep.
Right. And they I don't know, they have given out like good free stuff in the past, but I swear, like, at least as far as I can remember, this is like the best free like ticket thing that I think that they've ever done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to do it because I don't want to farm the free-to-play characters.
Oh god, yeah, that same thing every year, man. That's so funny. It's like, oh, we have to actually farm the free characters to get our free summon tickets. It's like, yep,
yeah, to get free the video game, dude. Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's insane.
So I wanted to get some. I wanted to get a bit of feedback from you guys, I guess. Obviously, for our global listeners out there who've been enjoying the World Tournament from afar or vicariously through, watching content and stuff like that. When it comes to the anniversary,
do you mean the anniversary?
The anniversary.
Oh, you said enjoying the World Tournament.
Did I? You know why? It's because I'm playing the World Tournament still. How could you not be enjoying the World Tournament? That goes without saying. For everyone who's been enjoying the anniversary from afar, when it comes to the anniversary then, for Global, do you think it is going to literally be a case of, like, people are just going to be skipping part 1 to summon for Beast Gohan? Because
I think many people are going to do that.
So,
she's just so good.
I don't know. It's like a little hard because obviously, it's like a lot of people will say that, but obviously, of course, those of us being, gambling addicts in the audience will, end up succumbing to the temptation of summoning, because obviously it's just so appealing to obviously just be like, well, it's the shiny new character. I want them for sure. I do think that there will probably be a lot of people who do still skip it, right? And I mean, obviously, that's a pretty smart decision because, of course, I mean, like, Gohan Beast far eclipses anything else in the game, so it would be, like, most wise to, obviously, I would say, skip and then summon for that, probably. But I mean, like, at the same time, right, like, I don't know, if your favorite character is Gogeta or Broly, obviously I could understand people summoning on both, but they could always, you know, obviously the nice thing about these big celebrations is that, of course, you don't have the discounts anymore, or, well, not discounts, the 3+1, rather, on the part 1, right? But the unit is still there, right? So if you do pull, you know, Gohan Beast and you're like, yeah, you know, I want, you know, Gogeta or whatever the case may be, you could still pull for him at that rate if you really want him. So I don't know. I think it'll be a case of, like, I'm sure there will be some people who will hold strong, but I think there will definitely be a lot of people who are like, yeah, I'll save, and then, you know, end up pouring it out on the part 1.
You see, another thing is the fact that Global is going to have global exclusive discounts and the tickets.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if
True.
you go in part 1, you don't have to go in nearly as many stones than, like,
True.
compared to JP, because of the fact that you'll have those tickets. And then I would at least recommend still doing the discounts because of how good Broly and Gogeta are.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that I think a lot of people are going to be tempted to summon anyways, because Gogeta is so good for Gohan's team.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
Broly and Gohan work really well together. I mean, Gohan and Transform Broly might just be like the best single rotation in the game of the two best like characters.
Yeah.
So Broly's just so dumb. I still love that Broly unit. It's just kind of crazy. So many people were like downplaying that Broly.
Yeah.
Like the week after he came out. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
But they're all like top 5 characters in the game anyways, and
Yeah.
it's probably barely gonna change by the time like we reach July on global. So I don't know, but at least you guys will have the discounts, and a lot of people are gonna be like saving for the next few months on global anyways. So like it should be fine, because you guys will have a lot of stones starting off there. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool.
Truth, what are your thoughts when it comes to global? Should people skip part 1 for the anniversary and go all in for Beast? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, because it's like, I mean, I look at it as like leader skills is a big thing with these types of characters, right? And it's like Gogeta leads movie heroes, who there's 500 of those, and then Broly leads, I mean, the most obnoxious team in the game. I mean, Broly runs a full, you know, Broly's best lineup Minato is what? Full superclass.
It's just everyone on Beast Gohan's team.
You're not even running villains on Broly's team anymore. Like, so I mean, yeah, you just got to get Beast, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that all the best units on Broly's team are just on superheroes. Like they're on Gohan's team.
Yeah.
So
Because like Broly's team could be
Broly
good.
is on
but-
Gohan's team too. So
Yeah, I think the build I ran of Broly's team, I think I used it against the Gammas stage. But like I had the double Broly, obviously, in Golden Frieza for that bit of support. Because
great character.
when you get that turn of double Broly with one of them transformed and then Golden Frieza in slot 3, so the full power Broly in slot 1's dropping like a 35 million attack stat and then multiple 25 million additional supers. It looks pretty good. But then, yeah, obviously you can run Gogeta, you can run Beast Gohan. Now, of course, because I am a big fan, I do like running Super Saiyan 3 Rose on Broly's team. He only gets the 170 lead, but he's been eating good in this celebration because there's so many events where you fight a Goku or a Super Saiyan Blue character. So he actually has been looking pretty good in a lot of these events. So I like running him on Broly's team. But yeah, some of the best units on that team are just units like Gogeta and Beast Gohan. So as much as Broly is super good and I really want to get him, it's like out of the 4 characters, if we're talking about who is the most, I guess, sensible to summon for out of the 4, it is Beast Gohan, right? Because he's just that guy. Like, he's just that good. So
Yeah.
be interesting to see what they do next, right? With the big, because I guess the next big release that everybody will be looking at is global players are mostly in the mindset of skipping pretty much everything until anniversary unless something interesting comes out. And then, of course, for JP, you're going to have sort of the cooldown after the anniversary. The next big thing that everyone will probably be looking forward to is what is going to come out for Saiyan Day, because last year God Goku came out as like the best TUR in the game. So if that happens again and it's a hype character pick, that'll be another one of those interesting choices that global players will have to make on the way to the anniversary. So definitely interesting to see how that's all going to go down.
And then again, like literally next week, it could be a global first banner for all we know.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what's so interesting is like we said before about how the global first could be, for example, it could be the Tanabata unit that's going to come out for JP in July and it comes out on global first. But then it just becomes one of those things where, and this is where we sort of look forward to the future and have to think about how the power creep, if you want to call it that, of this anniversary plays out in the future. Is like if that unit comes out, who's going to be the Tanabata unit for JP in July, but coming out on global, let's say at the beginning of March, if that unit isn't as good as Beast Gohan, then it's like almost like why summon for them then?
Right.
So
I mean, it just has to be a cool character.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's going to be very interesting to see how they handle releases like going forwards after making a unit as absolutely crazy as
what if
Beast
it's just
Gohan.
like a new orange Piccolo, and then it's like, oh, he works so good with Beast Gohan, I have to use him with Beast
That'd be
Gohan.
so painful to my heart. I love no stones, and I really like orange Piccolo.
Then it's like, well, it would be on global though. Well, I guess you play both versions, don't you?
I do, but I don't spend on global.
Oh, well, there you go, L. But not an L, W. But I would say like that would be a way where it's like, oh, like even though it's not Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo, this guy's like Beast Gohan's new best friend now, and you're gonna want to get him, right? That's if they really wanted to make people summon before anniversary. That's really all I could think of.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think with all of that being said, is that everything that we got before our final segment of the day? Do you guys have any other thoughts on the anniversary before we kick it to everyone's favorite segment of the podcast here?
Remember that the 7th anniversary was really good, but it killed 99% of the game. And right now the 9th anniversary is really good, but it actually revived all the shitty 2023 characters, right?
I think the 9th anniversary is just already the best anniversary. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I mean that's not even
for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we all agree that, right? Because you know things like
absolutely
the 4 units are awesome. Even wherever you think of like out of the 4, which one you would consider to be the worst one? I think most people would agree Beast is the best one. But like the EZAs have all been good. The events have been interesting. We're finally getting difficult events against super class enemies and stuff like that. Like I think across the board, the anniversary has just been a massive W. So you love to see it as fans of the game. We absolutely love to see it. So.
Yes, we are really eating.
Is unfortunately, I saw something like this is just like a little off topic from what's related to the fan meeting. They're like they never released the Q&A section. And then what was this post I saw? I don't know.
It was from the Dragon Ball official website. They posted a like a summary of the fan meetup because the Dragon Ball official site, they post like basically everything going on in the world of Dragon Ball. And so they talk about Dokkan stuff a lot of the time too.
And they never gave us the Q&As of like what exactly they talked about there. And they brought up something like about something about linking same name characters together, where someone asked, why can't we link same name characters together or something? We don't know what the answer to that question was. And it just like annoys me because we don't know what they said in response to that. So there's probably some really interesting questions. And I know for the 7th anniversary, they revealed those questions. So I wonder if there's going to be something that comes out where it's like they talk about those questions that were asked, or if we're just
maybe they do like a special video, or for global they format it some way. Yeah, because see, that was what was so weird about the fan meetup. I will say this time that like I was like when I was watching it. And then they they finished the announcement. I was like, wait, that's it? Like, not from the perspective of like I wasn't satisfied with what they announced, but I was like, I swear that was so short. And I looked back on it, and yeah, the problem was that last time, they had the whole Q&A in the fan meetup, and they, like they showed all the questions, and then obviously they had Omatsu answering them, and so on and so forth. But they literally just like did not have that in the stream this time. Why? I could not tell you, because that's something that like everybody was interested in. Honestly, obviously the reveals are cool, but that's almost like one of my favorite parts, because you obviously kind of get to see like oh, what are the devs thinking type of thing. So I don't know. I do hope that they release that information in a more meaningful way.
That'd be
For sure.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I think definitely a big W. And I think obviously for me, caring about this sort of thing almost like most of all is just like, man, I don't know how they're gonna top this in terms of like character choice for the anniversary just being so hype. Because I mean, like, man, you got, Broly and Gogeta, right? Which is like, I don't even need to say anything more than that, right? Like, enough said. And, then you have Beast and the Gammas, which obviously, everybody is very excited about Beast. And, Gammas are like the, newest characters from the movie. And, everybody seems to really like them, as far as I've seen anyway. So, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to top this in terms of character picks next year. I would assume it would have to be like 4 fusions or something like that. Like, well, I don't know.
I've seen one of the suggestions that I've seen people saying, which I do think would be kind of cool, is we've talked about obviously the fact that it could be full-on fusions again. So it could be like Super Vegito and Super Gogeta. But something that would be super awesome. Obviously, it's only going to be one part because you'd have to have other units for part 2. But imagine if they finally pull the trigger and drop a unit that's like a joined forces like Gogeta and Vegito, and like one of them is Super Saiyan, and then the other one is Super Saiyan Blue or something. Like
that would be peak.
Oh, yeah, that would be crazy. I know we're almost getting into some like Heroes territory stuff, but because they are proper characters, like technically they could do that if they wanted to. Yeah. But yeah, that's all.
And ironically enough, there is a Heroes card of that exact thing.
Exactly. But actually, we were saying it completely slipped my mind until you mentioned about character choices, and obviously mentioned Beast Gohan and the Gammas. But just to get a quick like side note here, because we talked about predictions and everything and what we were expecting. Truth, what are your thoughts on the fact that we got the Gammas as the Part 2 Carnival LR?
Oh yeah, we forgot about Cell Max, just like Dokkan forgot about him.
Yeah, I actually would have preferred Cell Max quite a bit. I mean, obviously the Gammas are great. This was a big moment everyone was looking forward to, which is sick. But again, like they dropped Broly as like the worst possible leader for the Super Bosses category.
Yeah.
They give the team. I mean, to be fair, the 3 Super Bosses characters they released are the 3 best Super Bosses characters, period, probably, right? Well, I mean, Fusion Zamasu's in there, but
he can still be decent, but yeah.
Yeah, the team just doesn't work. It's the problem is you'll get these characters that have big bad bosses, and it's like they're married to that link. Like you're not seeing that character unless they've got it. And then like the Golden Freezes don't have it. Broly doesn't have it. And then it's like 3 of the must-run characters on the team don't have it.
Yeah.
It's just, it becomes a mess. And then like, what if Jiren EZA's in part 3 and they make him ridiculous, right? And then like it just becomes a mess. Like Broly's team is a mess. I don't know what it was they should have done. I think Broly should have really just had like all type support tacked onto him or something to try and make things a little bit more cohesive.
The thing is that like they kind of had that idea with his domain where he gives that support, but that's turn 5, right?
Yeah. But it also only buffs extreme class characters and debuffs the super class characters. And again, the best build for Broly right now is gonna be full super class. You're just running Beast, Blue Kaioken Evolution Blue, Gogeta Blue, like Dragon Fist. Like that's gonna be the best run for that.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. And I was thinking too, like, talking about character choice like we were talking about before. I do feel like it's a bit strange because it's like, personally, I like Cell Max, and I think the majority of us here do, but I think we also mentioned this last time, right? That like, it's so strange because I feel like the Gammas could have carried their own celebration with how popular of a character they are, and with, like how popular of a scene the Core Breaker scene is. I feel like they could have been, their own celebration, or like a even more hype, like part 2 unit to another, like superhero celebration, or even the part 1 unit, right? Like, yeah, like Annie just said, like even Tanabata, right? Like something they could have been like a bigger LR, right? Is the point at the end of the day. But I feel like, at least in terms of like the community consensus, right? I don't really think that Cell Max can kind of hold his own in that way.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like he, is a lot more of like a part 2 LR type of unit, or like a unit that needs to be there with another character, right? Like another, has to be like a dual festival, for whatever it would be for him to kind of like then be able to hold it, just in terms of all the aspects at play. So I don't know. Like, it's cool because it's like they just made like the hypest thing possible all at once, so like that aspect of it is just cool, because it's like, dang, it's like 2 of the biggest scenes from the movie, just like bam, there it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just so weird to me that they didn't, like, I don't know if they just didn't think about it, or, whatever, or, maybe we just won't get a Cell Max unit. I guess that is obviously entirely possible, as unfortunate as that would be.
It's
I
crazy
would think that they would do something. But...
yeah, it's like the release of Hirudegarn really put that kind of like firmly on the table. There was like, if he's getting a standalone unit, then, we know Beast is coming eventually. Now we could obviously get a Cell Max unit. And the thing is, like, we talked about it before, but like the animations that he could have had as well would have been so good if you think about the different stuff that he does.
That attack, the last one.
Yeah, the crazy death ball thing. And then obviously the crazy thing where he shoots the lasers out of all of the spots and like the fingertips and everything. Like all of that stuff would have been so cool. But, maybe it'll happen eventually. I could see Tanabata being something like, if they were going to do another separate, Orange Piccolo being the headliner one, and then Cell Max being like the part 2 LR, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely agree. Like the Gammas seem like the unit that if you were going to leave a unit out of this like anniversary and then have them lead their own, like a Tanabata or something, the Gammas would make more sense than Cell Max. But I mean, that's again, like, obviously not to downplay the Gammas. They're awesome. The scene's great. The unit's great. But yeah, I think especially because we kind of got, it's like the worldwide celebration all over again. Like we got bamboozled by the thing. It's like, oh, well, part 1, the Dokkan Fest was extreme and the carnival was super. And then part 2 is clearly going to be Beast Gohan super type Dokkan Fest. So surely the Carnival LR is going to be extreme. Yeah. And then Dokkan pulled a fast one, as they often do. And we just got 2 super class units in part 2. So it's
they said
worldwide celebration all over again. But
yeah, it's very interesting. And like, obviously, this one was another one of like, a bunch of signs pointed to Cell Max, because obviously, just like you said with Hirudegarn, and obviously the fact that like they implemented super bosses in the first place, right? Exactly. Like you would think, the main villain of the movie, or at least like, the main adversary that Beast fights, right? You would think that it would be him, but yeah, I don't know. So very interesting in that regard. I do hope that, they do implement Cell Max in some like fashion in the future. I will say though, above all else, when it comes to Cell Max, I am really glad he wasn't the side banner unit.
He wasn't the
that would have been funny. That would have sucked.
Yeah, that would have been like honestly worst case scenario.
I would have loved that just because it would have been so stupid.
The biggest thing I hated was that Weelo was the Prime Battle LR, and they made Turles the Dokkan Fest, right? Ugh.
Yeah, nah, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I like Weelo a lot, and I was just really.
I better not hear a butt coming.
No, there is no butt. I wish he was discernible.
I was gonna say, I am the captain of the Weelo Defenders, man. We needed that Dokkan Fest.
Yeah, no, I wanted it when, like, when we were all like, oh yeah, Weelo. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, finally we're gonna get a summonable one, and then Prime Battle. I was like, okay, all right.
But when are they ever gonna drop Dr. Weelo again, man? Yeah. Like that was it.
Literally never.
It's okay. This year we're gonna get the human form of Weelo from Heroes as a bounty.
Oh yeah, Dr. W.
Dr. W. Please put him in the game. Oh man, I'm begging
that's
you.
actually his name, Dr. W.
Dr. W, bro.
Yeah,
so funny. I can only imagine the memes that will come from Dr. W and Dokkan. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe we'll get like Dr. Cochin and Dr. Wheelo as like a dual unit or something, and then they'll justify it like that. But anyway.
Dr. Wheelo with Dokkan original animations.
That would be gas. I'm not gonna hold you. That would be sick. I would be down for that. I don't know, man. I think he should win some. Anyway, we're getting off track. All right. With all of that being said, I think we have all of our thoughts about the anniversary out on the table. It is time for everybody's favorite segment of the podcast. That is right. We are doing the trash takes, ladies and gentlemen. So, as per usual, when we have a guest on, we always like to do a trash take that we pick, and then a trash take that the guest picks. So, I believe we have the podcast trash take first, and then I believe we have Truth's trash take up after that. So,
I think we got a good
screen.
We got a good mixed bag one, I think, this time, because I think we got, in terms of you guys know, if you're regular listeners, for those of you maybe tuning in for the first time, if you can make it out to the episodes when they're live, we do always put a poll in the chat, W or L take, because the segment is called Trash Takes, but sometimes we get some pretty good ones that we talk about as well. I feel like we've got a good example this week of one that's really good and then one that's not so good, so it should be pretty fun. So yeah, this is the I'll put the first one up on the screen here now.
Yes, we have the duality of men at play. So, for our first trash take, this is kind of funny because it's sort of like a twofer, right? We got a 2-for-1 in this one trash take. So, if you don't have Beast Gohan as the current best unit in the game, I will forever fail to take you seriously in any Dokkan discussion. And then, the part that comes afterward, also, his animations are not bad, but they do pale in comparison to the Gammas, where they actually cooked hardcore. So, this is such like an interesting one because it's like, you know, I feel like the first half is like, yeah, you know, that makes sense to me, but the second half I feel like could be debated upon a little bit. I already like, I think it's pretty obvious what I would think about this, but Minato, what do you think about this one?
Well, first off, we don't even have to talk about it. It's clearly a W take.
I feel like the first part, right, is just absolutely just cut and dry W, right?
Yeah, easily, right? The first half for sure, right?
I don't even.
Second half?
Who would even be?
Oh,
like, who would you say?
Oh, Truth, are you ready for this? Actually, I meant to get this up beforehand, so I need to double check to make sure I'm not tripping. I'm not. I need to.
Please.
Let me just double check. You go on for a second.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, okay, like, let's say Beast is the number one. Like, who would people put? Like Broly, I guess. But like, I would say Broly is better after he transforms. But I mean, that's 80 lifetimes into the fight, bruh. I mean, Gohan just does it turn one.
Well, Journey.
You know, that's cool, but you know, Gohan doesn't turn one, man.
He is him.
What about when Tech Journey's Yays next week and he doesn't turn one? What would you do?
We're gonna love it. We're gonna love it.
Yeah, we'll run them both. There you go.
Where is it?
Yeah,
actually,
I know.
They will share like 3 links, won't they? Doesn't Jiren have shocking speed?
Yeah, something. I think they do share a couple. Yeah, obviously, like I think for this one, it's like the beginning of this take is like, yeah, you know, that makes sense to me. But I don't know. I pale in comparison. I know for me, I'm definitely in the boat that, like, obviously, like I said earlier, I still think that you know, like Broly's are the best animations of the celebration. However, I do think that Gohan's are better than the Gammas. Funny enough, we kind of talked about this last week when we were discussing the whole thing of, like, you know, that hot take that we had talking about, like, the animations and, like, all the units being released. Unfortunately, I think the Gammas in, like, it's like very minuscule things, but the Gammas do suffer, I think, a little bit from being Carnival LRs, where it's just like, I don't know why, I don't get it. But in certain spots, like, there's some things that are like a little bit about them, and I don't know. Usually it just seems like with the carnival units, they just always have these like things about them that are just really weird or like off-putting or just like, you
What
know,
about
not
Future
as high
Gohan?
quality as what's that?
Does Future Gohan have that?
No, I would say Future Gohan, like Future Gohan and Gogeta, I think are like easily the exceptions to that, right?
Okay.
Well, I mean,
They
Carnival
definitely
Kid Gohan's animation looks good too.
the
I feel like there's
anniversary.
like I could see a little bit of kind of like his essays aren't exactly crazy, right? Like
yeah.
Not crazy, right?
Yeah.
What about the Super Saiyan trio?
Yeah, they're pretty good. I guess
yeah.
they would be another good example. I feel like they could still be a little bit better, but I still think Gohan and Gogeta are above them, but I would say they're probably right below.
Yeah, I will say the one thing I was quite surprised with the fact that because we've been seeing such a good improvement on animations across the board like lately with some of these big releases, I was actually really surprised that the Gammas like mouths don't move during their like action.
Yeah.
I thought that was really weird.
That was a bit silly. I don't know. Like it's not the craziest thing in the world, right? But it's still just like, and you know what's really funny about that you mentioned that? In the super attack previously, their mouth moves, but obviously they aren't talking. They're just saying the quote that's on the screen. I was just like, okay, so you're telling me they animated it here, but not for when the voice is coming out of their mouth?
Oh.
I don't know.
I found the thing I was looking for, but it was it has been retroactively reversed. So I did see it, but then it has been updated because it was our favorite person to get some hot takes from. I know Truth made a whole video, his grading hot takes thing, solely around one of the threads that this guy made. But our good old boy Polarity over on Twitter, he's changed it now that the units are actually in game. That's where I realized I'd made the mistake. But it was now that I've seen the kits top 10 LR list, and he still had Piccolo over Beast Gohan. So
Ow!
No, he's saying right now that Piccolo and Beast Gohan are tied.
No, because I just found the most recent one is him saying that Beast is number one. But
but I saw something like a few hours ago where he's like, "Oh, Beast and Piccolo are tied."
oh, good lord!
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's it's private server brain rot. We're not gonna get into it, but it is weird. I'm just saying.
But yeah, Piccolo is still good, but man, he's just not Beast Gohan. Like what? How?
Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
A little bit of delusion of grandeur, perhaps. I don't know, but anyhow, though, I think chat and all of us are pretty firm on our take on this one. What is the poll actually at? Let's see, because I actually haven't clicked.
There's always like a slight. Oh well, I've just ended it now, but didn't realize. But yeah, is it going to come up in the chat? It should do.
I see on my end,
like
it says 71%. Yeah, W and L 28%.
But yeah, we got a good one. I don't know why it's not coming up with the results of the poll. Oh, there we go. It takes a while to load. There's always a 1% margin of error, so it's 71% W, 28% L, which obviously adds up to 99. But YouTube doesn't round up with these things, so it's 71% W. So yeah, I mean, like I say, I think we pretty much all agree, right? The first part, it just is hands down, and then the second part, the first part of the second part, I definitely agree with. Like, I don't think his animations are bad.
Yeah,
someone did say in the chat actually as well. I think another thing that's kind of jarring. It touches on a little bit of what I was saying about it being something that we've not really seen before, but also the fact that the animations are not really in like the superhero style, so they look kind of out of place for Beast, who we've only really seen in the superhero style. So
right, it's not that CG look.
Yeah, that might be part of it as well.
Yeah,
but then I don't know about paling comparisons. I mean, the Gammas ones, I like them, but I think they did the core breaker quite well. But I don't know, actually, I probably should have mentioned it when we were talking about them before, but I do think it's a really, it's a good animation. But I think my initial thought when I first saw it was that it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Considering how some of the ones that we've seen are shot for shot like the movie, it just for some reason didn't feel like as impactful as I thought it was going to be. Like, I still think it's good. It's just not as good as I thought. But I don't know if I would say that Beasts like pale in comparison to them, but I think they definitely are not as bad as some people have said. So
yeah. I 100% agree with you on that. Funny enough, like it was a couple shots that were just a little bit different from the movie that I think made all the difference. Like on that, the main shot that's obviously like the most iconic one of the Cornbreaker where he's yeah, I literally was just about to bring that up, Annie. Thank you. Where you know how like so obviously the part where he's charging down and you're like looking up at his face, basically.
Yeah, that's the part, yeah.
Right. For that entire shot in the movie, the background was like the blue aura that Gamma 2 had around him. And then obviously like in the next scene they transition where it's like the side angle where you're seeing him, flying downward, looking from the side. But for some reason, for the shot where he's looking down, it's just like a light blue outer glow around Gamma 2, and you can see the sky in the background, like the darkened sky, which like is technically correct because obviously in that scene the sky is dark, but in the movie version of that, he is still surrounded by blue, like in that scene, right? Because obviously his aura is going crazy because of course, he's like letting out all of his energy. And then it's funny because in the next scene, like literally right after that, they have the like coloring of it as it should be, where it's like, got the blue aura going crazy around him. But it's not there for the shot where he's flying down. So, I think that like, that's a small thing, but it's definitely something that like contributes, right?
Yeah.
But I do think I agree with you on that. Like, I don't think, right? A lot of the time too, I think it also comes down to like when we give critiques of these type of things, I think people take it as like, oh, the animations are bad, or it's like, well, no. It's just like they could be better or they could be different, but it's like I don't dislike what is there.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's a big thing with the community. Yes, it's like to them, like multiple things can't be true, right? Like it can't be
right.
Like the one for me is that Broly's team is wonky, but Broly is still really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they go, oh, Broly's team is wonky, so he's bad now, so his team sucks now. It's like no.
Right.
Like it's like that type of thing happens a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like this. It's almost exactly. Where it's like, literally, how can you say Broly's bad even if Gohan is better? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's just because it's like, oh, new thing better, old thing bad.
Yep.
But it's never that cut and dry.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyhow, all right. With all that being said, I think it's time for Truth's take.
It is. Well, this
Truth
is to clarify the truth. Yeah,
one.
the take that Truth picked, not a take from Truth. But yeah.
Yes, Truth picked. Did I say what did I say?
Well, you just
did
said Truth's take, but yeah, it's the one. The one he picked.
No. I meant the one the Truth picked.
Just so people are clear.
Truth take, just bring out his any video.
Oh, this
that's
guy
crazy.
I wouldn't take that personally. But... All right. Should we bring it up then on the screen? Here we go.
Yeah,
I think I accidentally brought it up by accident midway through when I was getting ready to change it over. So some people, eagle-eyed people out there might have seen it already, but here we go. Is it going to actually change? Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Oh boy. All right. Truth, do you want to read this? Do you want to read this?
Read it out, Truth.
Would a sync be cool? Sure. But it comes down to most of the community being whiny babies who can't see something someone else has without going, where me want. Most of the people demanding a sync boil down to monkey see, monkey want. Most, not all.
Ooh. Oh, spicy.
Wow.
So, Truth, you picked this one, obviously, because you agree, right? Let us know what you think.
No, I think this is one of the dumbest tweets I've ever seen. How, like, they dropped the strongest unit in history! No one has touched this Beast Gohan's lengths. And as a global player, it's like, oh, good. Can't wait for 5 months to pass, dude. Like, when is Beast coming out? Like, it's like July 28th.
Yeah, because it's part 2 as well. Yeah. So.
Oh, like, dude, come on. Like, Global should have been caught up in 2016, right? Not 2024. It's just like so many things about like people's thoughts of the game are just like way different because like the games are like split. The community is kind of like fractured. Like, it's just dumb. It's things are going to be so good when it's all just one game. It's going to be so much better.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as the global player here, we've talked about it, you know, we've interacted many times on Twitter, even about the same subject, but I've always been right there. I've always been the sync advocate. Every year, things have happened where it seems like the games are getting really close, and we'll start to see like tweets, I've made them myself, where it's like, oh, games are getting a bit close in the schedule. I wonder if something is maybe going to happen. And all the time you get all these people that are like, nah, it's never going to happen. If they were going to do it, they would have done it by now. And yeah, now it is actually going to happen. And yeah, it's just, it's so funny to think. I mean, there is one part of the way it's kind of worded, because we try and break these down. Even when they're bad takes, we kind of laugh them off and then sort of analyze some of the wording a little bit more. I will say part of it is kind of true, even as a global player, where it's like seeing something that the other version has and just being like, man, I want that. And it's like, well, yeah, because the game is 6 months behind the JP version.
Right.
And it's like someone I think in the chat mentioned it as well. And I made the joke about it earlier in the podcast, and I made the joke about it when I like put up my stream this morning. It's like, yeah, guys, super hype release on Dokkan today. No, not Beast Gohan, that's JP. We've got the World Tournament on Global to play. Like, yeah, I'm so glad I'm sat playing the World Tournament and not playing with like Beast Gohan, Broly. Like, come on. Yeah, and it's like, you know, there's always been the memes. We all do it here as well, right? Like the global player moment and JP player mode, like, you know, every time global gets a little W, like some of the free tickets and stuff, will make all the glow best jokes and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, like, we're all playing the same game. Everybody wants the game to be better and more successful, and the sync, I think, is something that people have been looking forward to for a long time. There's a lot of people in the same boat as me when it comes to global, where a lot of people, if you are from America, England, Europe, even Spanish, like the other languages that are in the game, a lot of people discovered Dokkan for the first time with no idea that there was a JP version. And so you play the game for a certain amount of time, you get invested, you maybe start spending some money, you start building up your account, and it's like, then you find out there's a JP version that's like 6 months ahead in terms of content. And some people, of course, pulled the trigger and made that jump early on and switched. Whereas for some people, you know, by the time you realize that there is a JP version, you're kind of too much invested already. Which is basically what happened to me, right? By the time it got to the point, especially when I started making content, and it was like, man, it would kind of be a lot easier if I was on JP, because all the new stuff is coming out there. That's when it's the most hype. But like, you know, I've had my account for 3 years at this point and got, you know, every unit in the game up to this point that's been released. Dupes, obviously for me now, like in terms of global, I have every unit in the game, even if they are only 1 or 2 copies, right? But I have every unit in the game that's been released so far, apart from the Arale units, because they've never come back, god damn it.
Do you have the V-Jump? Oh, no, not the V-Jump. Do you have the pre-order into Base Form Trunks?
That is true. I do not have that. Yeah, there's...
there you go.
I saw someone recently with him as their profile pic.
Damn.
They're like their data page. Like,
that's pretty
what the hell?
You know, I will say, in regards to the whole thing about like global obviously being 6 months behind, man, all I gotta say about that is that these people would not survive if they were playing F-Go, bro. Oh my god.
Isn't it like 2 years behind or something? Like,
yes.
Like 2 years.
F-Go, for those of you who are unaware, Fate Grand Order, right, is 2 years behind the JP version. Like, I have a couple of buddies who play the global and the JP version of F-Go. And like it's just so insane to me, where like they were talking the other day and I was listening into the conversation and they were like, yeah, you know, oh, are you, because one of them plays JP and the other one plays global, and he's like, yeah, are you excited for this character? And he's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm gonna be ready to summon in 2 years, man. And he said it like straight faced. I was like, there's no way. I was like, there's actually no way. Like, I could not imagine waiting that long for a character to, come out on, the version of the game that you play. Like, that's just insane. Imagine sitting there, watching that entire time, the other version have that character, and, you just have to wait. Actually insane, dude. So all I'm saying is be grateful, because that could be you.
I mean, the thing is, right, we've all seen before, because when it comes to people who are against the sync, the only real arguments that you see, for the most part, is the foresight, right, for knowing what's going to be coming further down the line. But for the most part, with the way like, I don't know what the right word you would use, like the ecosystem, I guess, of the community at the moment, is you get the data download. And so a bunch of people, us included, like 3 of us at least on the podcast, right, put out showcases of those units from the data download. Then the unit comes out. People like Truth and Minato will summon, if it's on JP, straight away. 55% showcases will go up that day. As long as you're somebody who can have a little bit of patience and you don't have to summon the second the banner drops in the game, like, you can already see some good examples of what the character is like, how good they are, whether they are actually worth summoning for. Now, obviously, the big thing is the foresight for what's going to happen in the future, right? Like, if the Saiyan Day unit comes out and is super good, Global has that sort of advantage of knowing what the anniversary is going to bring, so you can kind of weigh up what you're going to be summoning for in the future. And I think that is just the one major divide, where you're either on one side or the other. And for me personally, like, I will trade that little bit of foresight for the extra hype, because for the most part, the community is the most engaged and the most, I feel like, excited when there are the big same time celebrations, because everybody is getting all the stuff at the same time.
Absolutely.
And then, everybody's able to talk about it. Everybody's able to use the units. And sometimes you got to take some risks. But I mean, when it comes to, we say this all the time when talking about summoning on filler banners and stuff. If you're someone who's free to play or you don't spend much money on the game, you should really only be summoning in the big major celebrations anyway. So you don't need the foresight of, like, Dokkan Fest Turles comes out, and you don't need to think, oh, but what if something really good comes out in like 2 or 3 months? It's like, something really good will come out in 2 or 3 months, because then we'll be getting to the point of the year where it's like the worldwide celebration or the New Year's Dual Dokkan Fest or something like that. So the filler Dokkan Fest, for the most part, are kind of skips for people if you are a more conservative player, right, in terms of spending. But yeah, like, the sync is just something that hopefully will fix a lot of these weird issues that we get sometimes with, especially units that get lost in limbo. Like Omega was one of them, right? He suffered the same fate as like Golden Frieza and LR Janemba, where they should have come out in a certain place, but then because the global schedule gets moved around to fit in a bunch of same time stuff with JP, these units end up coming out way later on. Like, again, we mentioned it earlier, but like how long Global took to get Omega, which then obviously meant the Omega fight as well, which was like a big piece of content that we've kind of just been sat around watching JP players testing out the new units in, but like, we still don't even have that event, right? So some of that stuff is going to be very interesting. And along the way, foresight, again, as somebody who has been on Global, foresight is something that's lost its value, I think, a little bit along the way as well, because things of like banners changing, them changing the order of some of the celebrations. I remember one of the biggest examples from, I think it was actually 2 years ago, LR Janemba came out, and on JP, the next Dokkan Fest after his release, or at least in terms of what should be next for the schedule, was AGL Trunks, and then the tech androids came out after him on JP. So for me on Global, I was like, well, I don't care about AGL Trunks. I've already seen him on JP. I don't think he's that good. He doesn't lead a new category or anything. So if I really want to, make videos about him or whatever, I'll just use a friend one. So I'm going to go all in trying to get Janemba, and then I'll just skip Trunks. And then on Global, the androids came out next instead of Trunks, who were the next unit that I actually really wanted to summon for. But I just used all of my stones on Janemba because the Global Foresight told me that a unit that I didn't want was going to be coming out next. And then they changed it. So it's one of those things that even along the road, it hasn't actually been that reliable. So,
I mean, even like back in like 2017, there was the Int Gogeta and STR Janemba banners And on JP, it was like this really good super class, extreme class banner where they returned like all the other like 120% leaders or something like that, right? It was a crazy banner, right? It wasn't like the in Gogeta banner. Didn't it have like Tech Super Saiyan 3 Goku and S Tier Super Saiyan 4 Goku? Like it was crazy. And then global players, I remember they're like, "Oh yeah, we're saving for that celebration so much, right?" And then it came when the banners were like completely switched up. It had Gogeta and Omega there.
Yeah, they were better with that, I thought.
Yeah. But it's like people like, oh, I'm a huge villain fan. I wanted to summon for all the villain units on Janemba, but now it's like they mix the banners up and they put extreme class and super class and mixed on both of them.
That's weird.
And people actually got really, really upset about that. And I remember that's another thing where it's like, even back then they have always changed banners. They've always even switched up the release date of certain characters to where it's like Global Foresight did have a lot of perks, right? For sure in the past. But it's not as big of a deal as I think people made it out to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's not reliable at this point, obviously, which is kind of the point that everybody's making. I know, even a buddy of mine, I forget what banner it was, but I think it was worldwide, one of the carnival banners or something. My buddy was saving because he really wanted int merge Zamasu. And then he ended up getting switched on whatever banner it was. I don't remember what particularly that was, but he was saving up because obviously he wanted the new unit, but he was also yeah, I really want to get merge Zamasu along the way. And then they switched it up on global, so it wasn't the same banner. At that rate, it's just well, what was even the point of getting yourself excited to only be let down?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, things are better than they used to be. Because obviously, I remember back when I started playing it, Global was pretty much always almost exactly 6 months behind on everything, and then that gap has slowly gotten smaller. But as we've already said, right, I think the big thing is the community is at the most hype. I feel when we get the same time stuff. So
yeah, absolutely.
Everything being same time just means all that stuff gets to be shared all the time.
Right.
So. Because, yeah, imagine, we said about how long it took Beast to come out for in the game based on some previous releases. Because they had stuff the big one that always stands out in my mind was the Int UI Goku. And the fact that he came out in the game the day after the episode showed on TV in Japan.
That was insane.
Imagine if that had happened for both versions. How hype that would have been at the time for, everyone. Whereas... yeah, for global, we then had to wait until I think it was Christmas that he came out.
That Christmas UI Goku banner was crazy.
Ridiculous.
Dude,
oh yeah.
Not for me. I got shafted so bad. I literally didn't get him on the Christmas thing. I bought all the sales and stuff and didn't get him. It was brutal, but. That started my curse of every year for 3 years in a row. It was UI Goku, then we got Global First Hit and Global First Blue Kaioken, and I didn't pull any of them from their initial banners. It was crazy. But yeah, I think definitely L-Take. The sync is going to be awesome. I can't wait. Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how it's implemented because they've said summer 2024, which we assume just means worldwide. So we would get the worldwide celebration like we always do, and then everything after that will be synced. So it'll just be interesting to see how global is fully caught up by then, because we got quite a few things to go. I think we're mostly, if we keep tracking the releases, I think we talked about this last time with Goresh, we were trying to plot them all out loud, but we always end up 2 units behind or something, so they've got to try and find some way to fit it in. But yeah, either way, it's the sync is definitely exciting. Should have happened ages ago, but it's finally happening now, and it's definitely very exciting.
I am very excited for it too. Even as a JP player, I'm really excited for it, to be honest. Because in terms of just being somebody who's very involved with the community, it's always, like you've said this whole time, it's always just more fun for the community, for everyone to be engaged. But even outside of the community, I don't know. I think it'll just be healthier for the game overall and the game's longevity, just to be able to have both of those things synced up.
I mean, when both versions get LR Super Vegeta and LR Super Gogeta next year for the 10th anniversary at the same time, it's gonna be good.
Yep, absolutely. I 100% agree. All right. Well, with all that being said, that ends our trash take segment. Actually, before we do, what's the percentages for the poll? What did we end on?
Oh yeah, let me actually click the thing to end it here. I mean, unsurprisingly, it is majority outtake, right? But the
What? No,
oh, shocking. Yeah, it's literally like 80%, 20%. Although with the 1% margin of error, it's 79% outtake, 20%. I'm surprised that it's 20% W. To be fair, out of the number of people that voted, that's about 20 odd people in the stream voted W take for this one. So. Very interesting, but
and that's crazy. We have some people who aren't wah babies in the chat, according to this take.
they're not monkey see, monkey want, which I've never heard anyone say before and thought was hilarious. So,
oh man, that's wild. All right, well, thank you as always. Oh, what's up, Minato?
I said they're freezer right there, man. Like what?
Oh. Oh man. Well,
hello,
chat as per usual. Thank you for submitting your trash takes. We always really appreciate it. Of course, if you want to participate with more stuff like this in the future that we do on the podcast, be sure to follow us on Twitter. That is where every single week, usually on Wednesday, we ask for your guys' trash takes. And who knows, maybe you could be selected for next week's episode. But with all that being said, we move on to our final section of the podcast today, which is, of course, reading out the donos and super chats. Of course, this is the section where we answer all of your burning questions and anything that you may be curious about when it comes to everything that, well, you would want to know. And obviously, if you have any questions for Truth, of course, this would be the perfect time for it. So, with all that being said as well, if you would like to, throw some last minute super chats or donos in there, feel free to do it now before we end the stream. But with all the ones we've gotten up until this point, Ningen, what do we have today? Oh, is he muted?
Of course I am, because waiting for the section to start. Gotta have the mic muted.
Dude, this silly funny. Billy.
I know.
Guy.
It wouldn't be. We'd almost gone a whole episode without a technical issue. So
we were so close, bro.
The last 3 weeks, Ningen. Oh my goodness,
bro. But yeah, so
that's crazy.
Shout out to all you guys helping to support the podcast. So we'll go through the list here. So we have a super chat from CJ Legend. He says, Truth, with Beast Gohan being so perfect, does this mean every unit released from now on is an automatic disappointment? Where does Dokkan go from here?
No. Not every, because not every unit is going to be super good too, right? Like there's going to be 2024 stinkers. It's not like Dokkan's perfect forever now, right? But it's good. They got the monkey off their back. We always have the memory of 9th anniversary LR Beast Gohan to keep us warm, right? Like, it'll be fine.
True.
I'm going to be especially mad when they fumble Dead Zone Domain Garlic Jr., but, you're going to have to suck it up.
Yeah, it's so funny to go from, because it's the same thing that happens every year. Like, we already mentioned them specifically, but, like, we got the 8th anniversary units, and when they came out, they were super good. They were super hype. And then STR Super 17 came out after them. So there's always going to be
the 8th anniversary, it was very good, right? Like, that's why, I see people Dokkan turned around. Then I was like, yeah, we're on top right now for sure. But, 2024 could still turn into a stinker year, right? For sure.
Yeah, it'll be, I guess you're only as good as your latest release in terms of where the level is of hype for the community, right? So, but yeah, shout out to CJ Legend. Then we have Weeb of Class, the $15 super chat. With Xenoverse 2 getting a big update this year, how would you guys feel about a crossover campaign like with the Android 21 and Fighters, and who would you want to get a Dokkan Fest exclusive?
Ooh.
That was interesting. They never did one with Xenoverse 2, right?
Yeah. Because Xenoverse, they've been adding so much DLC and everything for so long. Rip ever seeing Xenoverse 3, I guess. But there's those Xenoverse units that still need an easy A. They're every November when we're getting close to the Hero Celebration, every November I'm like, right, they're going to easy A those Xenoverse units this year, right? Because they're on crossover. I think the year that Hearts came out, all three of the extreme ones, the Mira, Toa, and Demigra, they're all on Hearts' 200% leader skill when his kit got revealed. So that year I was like, right, they're definitely easier in this year, boys, because they're going to be on Hearts' 200% leader skill. And they still haven't. So yeah, I think a Xenoverse crossover would be awesome. I would actually really like to see a Dokkan Fest like Xeno Trunks. I think Xeno Trunks' design is cool, right? We have that AGL Super Saiyan one where he has the black like trench coat and the Super Saiyan hair and everything. I think that'd be a cool Dokkan Fest. Truth, what would you like to see for something that was a Xenoverse related Dokkan Fest special celebration?
I never finished Xenoverse 2. I will admit that.
Because
Iron Cane, that's where Iron Cane has me beat, is that one, I think.
That's crazy.
2 is the one that ends with like the Super Saiyan 3 Bardock versus Mira like thing in the, well, part of it, right? In the Shatter Dimension.
And then they added like 16 billion more stories.
Yeah, true.
Well, that's also, that's where Mira does the Super Saiyan 4 form.
Yeah, the Super Mira thing. Because I really like the physical Mira unit with the awakening into like the transformation into the Super Mira, but obviously he was only kind of like okay when he got his awakening. So
I mean, that fight is where the Super Saiyan 3 Bardock Dokkan Fest is based off of.
Yeah, the event
Even though he's
is that.
not Xenoverse, but that's what the event is.
Yeah.
So maybe we can get a new Dokkan Fest Mass Saiyan.
Hell yeah, let's go.
See, that's what I was thinking too. Low key, like, what if that means we get a new Mass Saiyan? That would be really cool.
About time.
I would be down for that. I mean, like, they could do, right? Like, they could do Mass Saiyan. They could definitely do, like, you know, a duo Toa and Mira card. I think that... Yo, could you imagine, actually, trio card of Mass Saiyan, Toa, and Mira? Oh, my gosh, that would be crazy.
Categories would be a bit wonky, but yeah.
The categories would be terrible,
That's
but
more
it'd
like
still
an
be cool.
LR than a Dokkan.
I was going to say, imagine them as like a crossover 200% LR or something. Yeah, that would be
cooking. Cool. That would be gas. But yeah, they could, like, you know, obviously with Xenoverse talking about Trunks, one thing that they could do that would be kind of cool. I don't know how they would implement it. I don't know. Maybe people wouldn't care about it as much, but they could do something where it's like the avatar character, right? Like the one that they kind of use as like the default one in Xenoverse 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do like some duo card where it's like Trunks and the avatar or something. Yeah. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool. Be interesting to see because like I say, with them constantly. Yeah, Demigra, because we got when they awakened those guys, they gave them all a bunch of like new abilities, didn't they? Because the Mira got the transformation into Super Mira, Demigra got the giant form into the giant monster thing that he transforms into.
Yep.
So yeah, something like that would be super cool. But yeah, maybe one day we'll see. I mean, surely they're going to EZA those units eventually, so maybe it will be with a Xenoverse Cross Advocate campaign. I guess we shall wait and see. So shout out to Weeb of Class. Shout out to Philip Rodriguez for gifting 5 memberships to the channel. I appreciate you, my dude. Then we have Ultimate Warzone with the $5 donor. He says, with how good Beast is, does anyone think it's easier to win with his team rather than physical Bota Magetta? I still consider physical Bota Magetta to be number 1.
I mean, Beast is one of the best units for the physical Bota Magetta team.
True. Is literally
that's crazy, right? bro. Even when we're trying to downplay the man, he still finds a way to be on top. That's
true. So yeah, Truth, what are your thoughts on the physical Bota Magetta team shenanigans that people
I would say I don't really have thoughts. That's my official thought. I'm neutral on the Bota Magetta shenanigans.
I mean, it is a funny, like, you know, a funny team build, right? You put a bunch of units.
Yeah, it's only only 3 hours.
I was gonna say, yeah, you put some units on there
versus Beast Gohan.
Oh my god, could you imagine? Like I said earlier, it took me 25 minutes to beat that event with Beast Gohan's team. Imagine how long it would take to beat that event with Bota Magetta's team. That'd be
crazy.
I'll do a stream for it. Oh my goodness. No one else
see right there, there's your 24-hour stream.
I was gonna say the first like 10-hour live stream of one event. Let's go. But yeah, shout out to Ultimate Warzone. Shout out to Mega Nice for the 55 TRY. I always forget what currency that is, but shout out to you. These discussions are too calm, so let's spice it up by bringing up using your boosts on Dokkan events versus link leveling argument.
Oh,
you lost the game.
Wait, excuse me, sir. Argument?
All right. Come on then, Trick. Let's do it.
Argument?
Let's do it. Let's step in the ring. I've mentioned it before on my streams. I'm here. Look, I use my boost on Dokkan events because I don't have time to sit and play a Dokkan event 11 times before I can awaken my unit and then record videos of them. So I use my boosts on the Dokkan unit.
Now, here's where I got you, kid. You're done. Check this out. Minato, get ready. That's because you don't have the power level bonus.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, you're done. You global players.
You see,
man.
the thing is though, that just makes it even better because then when I use my boost and the power level thing procs, I get 4 times the medals in one run.
I've seen screenshots of people getting 28.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's just what it is it's like, the time. It's okay. So one run is like 3 minutes, but like if you get a level 10 link or like a level 9 link from a boost, you're potentially saving hours, dude. Literally hours. Like there's no argument to be had.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the resources and what you're like using it for, right? Because I think for normal players, like you said, it doesn't really matter too much if you're spending an extra like 10 to 15 minutes maybe to get the extra medals. Whereas obviously for us, especially if it's like a, same time celebration, everybody's trying to get the unit, get them awakened, like get the 55% showcase video uploaded and stuff like that. So for me, I want to get them awakened as quickly as possible. And then because I am somebody that spends on the game, I have link level orbs, I have keys. So once I get units up to like 7 or maybe even 6 or 7, I'm just then boosting them up to 10 if they're the new units. So most of the time, if I'm ever like link level grinding, it's usually just random units unless I've pulled a bunch of units, done the initial videos, and then it's like, okay, I don't really care about doing the link level 10 showcase straight away. So yeah, I feel like for most people, you're not in as much of a rush, right? Like if you're not a content creator or something. But I do think it is probably still one of the things in the game, and there are tons of other things like all the different subjects we could bring up like pity and all that kind of stuff, but it's the one thing in the game that I still really wish that they would change is like you summon for a unit potentially with stones that you've paid for, then you pull the character and then you have to sit for like 45 minutes playing an event 11 times, and if you pulled the side banner unit it's 16 times, or if you're like Turles and you have 2 side banner units, it's 21 times. And then they made the Merge Zamasu one from the Worldwide Celebration have that final stage that takes like 5 turns where he doesn't die. God, that was absolute nightmare. So, yeah, I can see like using it for getting those, cutting down on that time a little bit. But yeah, for me, it's one of those things I always, the night before a new unit comes out, or like the afternoon before a new unit comes out, I just don't use any of my boosts. And then once the banner drops, I pull the unit and then I have 3 boosts good to go. And then I guess who knows, right? With the power level update thing, if I do get lucky with some of those procs, I won't necessarily even have to use all 3. And then we can go back to link leveling. But there you go. So
I think all free-to-play players have to do is just use your boosts per day on 31.4 and then do the daily Roshi event. And like the characters who links you care about, you'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the small amount of orbs you get. I mean, I guess it's disappointing, of course, you can't get the large ones in any way in the game for free because it's like specific links, right? Like when characters come out and have big bad bosses and things like that, that's the link that you want to get leveled up straight away. But yeah, unfortunately, you can't really get the large link skill orbs in any way for free currently, but it is what it is. But yeah, there you go. So shout out to Mega Nice. Apparently we're too calm on the
technically if you do the isn't there like the Google Play points, like weekly rewards? If you like do those and then you save over time, you could technically get those packs for free.
True.
Once in a while.
True.
Yeah.
Takes a while, but yeah. I mean, you say that, but you say that, but how many times do you go on it for you're like, oh, it's Friday, time to get my Google Play, and you get like 6. Like,
I mean, last week I got like a 92,
Yeah, I think I got like 47 today or something random, but it's, I mean, it's cool that thing exists, obviously, but
yeah, it is very nice.
But yeah.
But I was going to say, technically, you can get it for free.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Are what you saying is that by all technicality, if you save for long enough, Dragonstone packs are free? Is that what I'm understanding?
It would take you quite
That's
a
a new
while, but
video.
yeah.
How to get free dragons?
Yeah, it's like how to get
that's
free
a banger.
Dragon
That's a
Stones,
banger right
and then
there.
it just comes up like 6 months later. It's like, yes, I finally have enough to buy a pack of like 24 stones. Yeah. All right, so shout out to the boy Mega Nice. Shout out to Nichigo for the $5 super chat. He says, I wasn't here for LR Kale and Caulifla, but Beast feels near STR Gogeta from the first year dominant. So this is something that we talked about I think on the stream earlier, because I think Minato, we mentioned it briefly before we went live, I think. It's been a bit of a trend over the last couple of years. And Truth, I definitely want to get your perspective on this because you've been around the block as well. Is every time a new really, really big unit comes out, somebody on Twitter will be like, oh, this is the new STR Gogeta level.
Yeah.
Crazy. But I feel like nothing comes close to that, even Beast, right? Because with the events that we have in the game currently, you don't need Beast Gohan to beat all the events in the game. Whereas like back then, like when STR Gogeta came out, if you didn't pull Gogeta, your account was useless. Like people would unfriend you if you didn't have STR Gogeta set as your friend. Like, like no unit has ever come that close, right? Like,
Yeah, but I would say that Beast is the strongest unit I've ever used, like day one.
Yeah.
Because again, I wasn't like the day Gogeta came out, I wasn't on the game yet.
Yeah, same.
Like I was around when Super Vegito came out a couple of months later, but
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. This is the first time where maybe I think that the STR Gogeta shit is not that crazy. Like I would still say STR Gogeta's one, but like Beast is like I don't feel like it's like unforgivable to say Beast is one, right? Like I don't know. Because you can't lose with him.
Yeah.
Like he literally protects the other characters. Like
yeah, you have to get very unlucky because like there are turns where it's like we joked about physical Gohan earlier. It's like the turn where you have used the taunt already and then you get maybe unlucky with additionals and stuff. So you have like one extra phase where the boss has a little bit of health left, or not enough health. Or sorry, I say a little bit of health, but he has enough health left that Beast doesn't kill him in slot 1. And then Ultimate Gohan does a super and 2 additional normals and then gets super attacked in slot 2 on like turn 7 or something. And it's just like...
No offense to the silly Billy, but I haven't really been using him very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just use Orange Piccolo, man, who can't die.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's... Yeah,
I don't know.
Beast is the closest one, right? That the STR Gogeta comparisons
I would
feel
say so.
reasonable, right? Than some of the other big releases that people will throw that out there for. But
I just don't know if I agree. I was like not really deep into the community at that time, or really deep into the game, but I was playing around that time. I guess since I wasn't too deep into the game, I can't 100% really say, but I remember seeing like discussions on Reddit and like, you know, some Twitter stuff. Was it Twitter? I think it was mostly Reddit actually. I don't know if Twitter they had a community. But yeah, it was like some old forums that I used to like look up. Like I'm just trying to remember. It was such a long time ago. But people used to just talk about, like, I remember there was when Ichigo Super Vegito came out, after people were still debating that Super Gogeta was better. That's just because how much of a hold he had on the game, right? But yeah, I can't say 100% for sure. I know that Nichigo, well, apparently Nichigo was saying that he was playing around that time frame. I think some people in chat were saying that it's not comparable still, like Kensei. I'm seeing in chat there. So it depends, but I feel like based on what I'm understanding, Beast Gohan doesn't exactly reach that level, but you could argue he's probably the closest, right?
yeah. Yeah, definitely more
think,
reasonable, for making that comparison now for Beast, for sure.
I just think that people always have an obsession with, like, whenever a character is like the best unit of the game, they're like, oh my goodness, it's like this is the new Gogeta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it's like
A
that
lot of times,
typical.
those people may not understand how good Gogeta was.
Whereas that's almost like very typical of the anime community in general, right? Because it's like whenever we get a new generation of good anime, there'll always be a tweet that's like, "Is this the new big three?" Because it's like the new good thing always has to be like, like the new good thing always has to be the new version of like the best old thing or something, right? But yeah, Beast definitely is worthy of the hype. So. Shout out to Nichigo for that one. Shout out to Daniel Rodriguez for the $5. He says if you're global, the turnaround for this is about the anniversary units, right? So this is kind of interesting. The situation global will be in, because if you don't pull any of the 4 anniversary units, assuming that, as they say, the sync is going to be pretty much full steam ahead after the summer, that means the 10th anniversary will be in February. Which means the anniversary characters will be back again, because the previous anniversary characters are pretty much always on the next anniversary banner. Which means for global, they actually come back about 7 months later rather than waiting a whole other year. Because we're going to have 2 anniversaries within an 8-month period.
Wait. I would bet that things are going to be like really weird and different at the end of this year. Like the typical kind of like global flow, I wouldn't really like check into that too hard that's going to happen that way, right?
Yeah,
One
be
other
interesting.
thing is that the anniversary is always returned on Tanabata anyways, which usually ends up being, I guess if you're in global, it's going to be different. Like there's not going to be like likely a Christmas banner even, especially if Tanabata is like first on global.
Yeah,
which is going to be weird because like usually like that banner does introduce the anniversary characters back, right? But if it's like on global before the anniversary, that's going to be a little like mixed up. Who knows? Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Because, I mean, the thing is, they could still do the same thing where, you know, as we've said before, with global being a bit weird from time to time, new releases could still be coming out at the same time, but that doesn't mean the full banner lineup will necessarily be the same, because the 2 versions will still have minor differences. So, yeah, you never know, right? It's unlikely, I would think, that the anniversary units wouldn't be on the next anniversary banner, but... yeah, I guess it's one of those things we won't know until we see now. But certainly going to be busy for the later part of the year going into early next year for global if we're suddenly catching up with stuff a little bit quicker. But we will have to wait and see. So shout out to our boy Drace for re-upping his membership. Channel member for 29 months. Let's go. LR Kid Buu needs to be as good / better than Beast Gohan. Yeah, the legendary LR Kid Buu. When will he come into existence? Hopefully he doesn't.
He's gonna come in as LR Omega 2.
I was gonna say we don't want him to suffer the same fate as Omega. Yeah, waiting so long for LR Omega and LR Kid Buu, and then LR Omega comes out, and look what they did. So. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully LR Kid Buu would be good, and LR Kid Buu would be some nice buffs to some of those teams, especially now that Kid Buus have like a 200% lead with the Android 21 team. So maybe it'll happen sooner rather than later. Who knows? I could see, you know, Majin Buu Saga celebration coming up with all the easy A's we need. We already talked about Vegito and Buhan. There's the Dual Dokkan Fest. I really want to see the easy A's for the Tech Majin Vegeta and the Int Goku. Those would be really cool. So who knows? Maybe we'll get something Majin Buu Saga related later on this year. So shout out to Alakazen for the $10 super chat. He says, what would be the ideal method of implementing EZA 2? Should they start with the OG AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Tech Cell, Broly, etc.? Will old free-to-play EZAs like STR Namek Gohan be revisited? So what do we think? Truth, if they're going to drop EZA 2, because obviously they have started talking about the possibility of it coming into existence now, what do you think is the best way they could implement it?
I think that probably the best place to do it would be like 10th anniversary. I think that sounds like a really crazy, like, you know, like, all right, part 3 of anniversary doesn't have a banner, and then they drop, you know, EZA 2 for, again, like some very exciting character. Like, what if they did EZA 2 for STR Gogeta, plus gave him a new super attack animation, right?
Yeah, because that would be something that obviously older units getting EZAs, they keep those old animations, which is a bit disappointing. But bringing in EZA 2 as a new thing, that'd be a perfect opportunity for them to do that. Because we did say about, imagine if they went crazy with like fusions for the 10-year, they could drop EZA 2 for like STR Gogeta and AGL Super Vegito, and yeah, that'd be insane. Crazy.
Now, certainly they're not going to do SA revamps too often, because if they're going to put that work into the character, they're going to just sell us a character, not give it to some character we've already got. But I do think it would work very well for them if it's a mega pot like STR Gogeta.
Well, I think the thing as well they could do is, even like, I think a lot of people want those older units when they get their Easy A's, it would be nice for them to have better super attack animations, because once they Easy A and they're good again, you want to use them. So you're going to be using them in their teams. But rather than give them a whole new animation, it's like give STR Gogeta like Tech Gogeta's 18 key super animation as his super attack animation, right? Like,
what they should implement is something that I like said once. I think I said it like a few podcasts ago. Like, you know, it was like a interesting thing that they could do is like, what if, let's say you have again Tech Gogeta, right? You own Tech Gogeta and then you also own STR Gogeta. Since you own both characters, what if there's a thing where you can apply the Tech Gogeta super attack to STR Gogeta because you have them? So it's a thing where it's like, even if STR Gogeta gets an Easy A2 and there's a new like LR Super Gogeta out during the anniversary, if you get the new LR Super Gogeta, then you could apply the super attack to that old STR Super Gogeta because they have the same name. Like something like that, where it's like, okay, where they could, like, obviously we could still have these new animations on the older cards that are redone, but it's not necessarily like to a point where it's like, why they stopped SA revamps in the first place was because they might as well sell us a new character.
Yeah.
That way, it's like, you know, it's kind of circumventing that. If that makes sense.
It's like a transmog thing, right? Like you get in RPGs and stuff. It's like, so as soon as you own a piece of gear for the first time, you can change other gear to look like it if you prefer the way it looks. So something like that would make sense, right? Like if you own the unit, then you can apply their super attack animation to other units with the same name. I don't know how complicated that would actually be to do, but something like that would be really cool. Because someone like STR Gogeta getting a revamp, and then you can give him a much better super attack animation. That would be,
or like even for like existing LRs, maybe if you're like a 12 key animation better, you could just switch it to that key. Like being able to like kind of customize the card a little bit, I think would be pretty cool. I think it could be interesting, or like. Something similar to that. I would like it quite a bit.
Yeah, it'd be cool. We'll just have to see what they do. But so super attack revamps in some way, even if it is using an existing unit, I think would be cool for easy.
Someone said in chat, Legends, the Shallot, right? If you got someone for characters, you could apply like the blue card animations onto Shallot's like blue card, right? Something like that, cool. Kind of.
Okay.
I think it'd be cool, right?
Yeah. Very cool. So I guess, we'll see. They've talked about it. It's going to be a thing at some point. So we'll see how they do it. So shout out to JC Gamer for the $5 super chat. He says, don't worry, Truth. Base Goku is coming with the April Lord Slug Dokkan Fest.
Here we go.
I'm glad it's Beast Gohan, but I wish it was Cell Max with him. I wonder if, because they hadn't done it in games before, right? But the Dragon Ball Super card game, the actual physical card game, actually did finally release a card that is the false Super Saiyan Goku. But I don't think he's been in any other like games before, right? Like official media, the full Super Saiyan Goku. He's not. That'd be kind of interesting to see that along with
that would be cool.
Lord Slug Dokkan
I mean,
Fest,
like I think he'll come into Dokkan as either base Goku or Kaioken Goku. Like all the stuff he does as full Super Saiyan would just be like an animation on like a Kaioken Goku.
Yeah, right? Yeah, makes sense. Shout out to ND Annie for re-upping their membership. Says, I wonder if Global will get Tanabata first. Yeah, that is something we talked about a little bit earlier on, especially with things syncing up. It doesn't really fit in for Global to be getting that in November. So I guess we'll have to see where they'll squeeze everything in. But we'll see how that goes. Caesar with the $2 super chat says, the Gammas and Beast feels like a powerful rotation. Haven't tried them out together yet. I don't know how many links they share outside of like Fierce Battle and Legendary Power, but I mean the Gammas are providing support, so I imagine that rotation would be pretty good. This is one for you, Truth. Aaron Hawley with the $2 super chat says, Truth, can you call me a bum?
Sure, Aaron is a bum. It was Aaron, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. So Andy Annie with the $5. Physical Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Tech Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta for me deserve an easy A. Good orb changes and could help out some teams. Also, how do they top 9 year? Yeah, they came out ages ago, right? The Tech Blue Vegeta and Physical Blue Goku Nuka units. They're super old
they
now,
put
right?
them on. They accidentally put them on the Universe 7 Reps category, right?
Wait. Oh yeah, no, because they're from Resurrection of F, aren't they? Technically, I think.
guess so. Yeah, so
think.
that's
Yeah,
why they like
yeah.
used it.
How do they top 9? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess we say that every time stuff comes out that is super good. I guess it'll just be fun to wait and see, because as we've all said on the
people
episode,
were like, "How do they top 7 year?" Right?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess as we said on the episode, right, it's pretty much W's across the board for the anniversary. So, I mean, as long as the next anniversary is hype character choices, good easy A's, and is W's across the board, then I guess that's what we'll be looking forward to. So,
Yeah.
Oh god, this one's a bit of a longer one. I don't know if we can go into all the detail here unless you guys want to fire them off super quick. But Caesar with the super chat says, giving the exact units, what are the 3 best teams in the game? So we don't have to go into every single unit, I think, because that would take a while, especially.
I think we could just say the 3 best teams.
3 best teams in
Yeah.
the game.
We know one is superheroes, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would the other not be movie heroes?
I mean,
yeah, because it's
heroes
largely the same team for the most
Right.
part.
You know
right?
what I mean? Because it'd just be like the same characters, would it not?
Well, what would the third one be? Earthbred Fighters?
Oh, heroes,
Which
obviously.
is just more of the
heroes,
same?
Of course. What are you talking about? Heroes.
Super Dragon
I
Ball
mean,
Heroes, baby.
I mean, Broly's team is basically just superhero now too, but like that's
Yeah,
you know, it's
I mean, you could say transformation boost Broly's team, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's all the same teams at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. That's why I said like Earthbred Fighters because like it's a different team.
Yeah. But yeah,
I
sure.
don't know.
Yeah, I think superhero is definitely number 1, and then so many of the other teams are just superhero, like mostly superhero units.
Right.
So it's
At this point, like,
yeah.
just variants.
definitely very, very oppressive. So, but yeah, shout out to Caesar. Shout out to Weeb of Class for becoming a channel member as well. Appreciate you. Caesar with the $5 says, I'd argue AGL Super Vegito was more powerful on release than STR Gogeta. He gapped even the other type leaders that released months after. I mean,
because he did come out with Broly, who was good.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't as good as Vegito, but he was good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people argue that in Buhan's team, like I think you could make a strong argument that in Buhan was like
Yeah, his team was crazy.
on par with Super Vegito's team.
Yeah.
I still felt personally Super Vegito was better, but there are people who are like in Buhan is crazy, right?
Well, his team back then, because bosses could still be like stunned and stuff, you could make a full extreme int
lowers.
team, with stunners, attack lowers, and then obviously Buhan heals with the orbs. And like
Buhan
every
was
event back
crazy.
then was just, you could just
Yeah,
easily defeat
that
it
was
with
fun.
the extreme int team. It was crazy.
And again, STR Omega, right? He had the attack lore
Yep.
as well. His
Yep.
team was like invincible too. Like I feel like it was like it's not like where STR Gogeta just stood above the rest of the game because there was still. I mean, at that point there was, I would say again, Broly was probably like the weakest 70% leader, but then I felt like it was like Vegito, Buhan, and then between Gotenks and Omega after that, right?
Mm.
I feel like they're all like, at least like Buhan is closer to Vegito than I feel like anyone was closer to Gogeta.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, for sure.
Yeah, I just remember, like, I got lucky because I came back to the game. I started playing Dokkan, played it for a little bit. I broke the phone that I had at the time. So then when I replaced it, I didn't re-download Dokkan straight away. That's why there's a gap of, I think it's about 100 or so days in my consecutive and cumulative logins. But when I came back and re-downloaded the game, it was when AGL Super Vegito and Physical Broly were out. And I got super lucky and I pulled both of them in literally the stones that I had from recapturing the account and whatever had been on there from before, plus like the login bonus, and I think possibly top grossing because it wasn't like the day they came out. And yeah, I just remember like AGL Vegito just destroying everything. Like the fact that back then, like his counters would do so much damage to the boss and everything. It was ridiculous. But yeah, so shout out to Caesar. Shout out to Talas World for the $5 super chat. He says, when are we getting a new type of card, like a rainbow type, that would be super effective against all other types? Also, Easy A2 should be 10 hard stages. Yeah, we definitely don't want Easy A2 to be another 30-stage event. I think we could all agree on that one. I wish all Easy A's were just 10 stages now, but...
An idea I had was like, if it's like, you know how you have to get stage 77 for the title?
Yep.
What if it's like, of the original Easy A event, it's like you reach stage 77 there for the title, and then you get a mission, and if you're already done it, it's auto cleared.
I was gonna
Gives
say
you some stones of the EZA medals, right?
Yeah, if it works retroactively, that'd be
nice.
great, because I have like every TUR
would have to
EZA
unless
farmed
they
up to
change the
stage
game,
like
right?
100, so that would be definitely beneficial. But yeah, that would definitely be interesting. What do you think about? I know Truth again, like is obviously. What do you think about like a new typing, as if we would ever see that? Because I know a lot of other gacha games have done that in the past, where you have like your certain elements or whatever, and then they bring out like a special typing that is super effective against everything or something. Could you ever see them doing something like that? Or
and like Legends, a lot of the story bosses are like that. Shallot is neutral against everything.
Yep.
right.
I mean, I could see like an anniversary character. That would be interesting, right? A character who's neutral against everything.
Yeah, definitely be
but
something interesting to see. But
I guess the thing about that is that it's like, again, they mentioned like, oh, super effective against all the types regardless and everything like that, but it's like it doesn't even matter because they put guard and super effective in passives anyways.
Yeah, true.
So it's like, does it really matter as much, right? Unless they're
it'd still be
doing
cool.
Yeah, because the bosses are gonna have territories that are gonna be messing with this stuff. Yeah, it does matter.
I guess that's fair. But
yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
100%. Right, maybe we'll see. I mean, like again, other gacha games have done it. Normally, not after so long, because of course we've had the 5 typing system for such a long time. But I mean, you can just go back to the whole we're finally syncing after all this time. So they're still putting in new ideas. So yeah, who knows?
Maybe that's what they do for Beast Gohan. It's like a territory boss that lowers like your damage reduction by like 30% or disables guard.
Yeah, because well, like you know how bosses obviously like there is a super attack effect that exists for units in the game, right? Which is disables enemies' guard. So imagine if bosses like start having that as well. That'd be crazy. And then last but not least, final one here. Shout out to ND Annie for a $2 super chat. It says, what do you guys think will happen with Tech Ultimate Go? Well, it's not Ultimate Gohan, is it? But Tech Gohan's EZA. He becomes Ultimate Gohan, but I know a lot of people were speculating if Beast was going to be part 2, which he of course is, that we could see Tech Gohan's EZA as part of the celebration. What do you guys think? Will it be upcoming?
Yeah, but you know what, Ningen? These dummies. It's a Dragon Ball Super celebration. I saw people talking, oh, PyCon and Janemba are coming, right? Like, it's been crazy, man.
Well, no, it's because the reason why people are saying that is because they specified that I don't know why they specified it this way, but they specified that it was a super celebration.
I think it was
it was Goresh. It was the way Goresh described it, but I feel like people misinterpreted what it was Goresh was saying.
What Goresh was saying is because last year was like the Spirit Bomb theme, and the part 2 characters didn't necessarily do the Spirit Bomb, right? So it's like always take things with a grain of salt. But what we've seen for the celebration ended up just being Dragon Ball Super, right?
Yeah,
so it was like the theme is super, but it could potentially be this because sometimes they like stretch it, you know?
It's so funny though that they did that. I guess it's because it's in response to what happened last year, where people did say like, oh, we don't feel like this really fit the theme that you said was the theme of the anniversary. But what makes it so funny is, so then this year they're like, okay, well, just to be clear, it's this, right? So it's a little bit more broad, but then it was just all super stuff anyway. So so they almost didn't need to actually say anything like that. But
also, I am concerned for Tech Ultimate Gohan, because I see the way they treated Kale and Caulifla, and I think a character like Tech Gohan is one where it's like, you know.
Yeah, because
what are they gonna do?
You see, you treated them like that, but it's like I'm seeing like what they did with Blue Cow Goku and Evolution Vegeta too, and it's like there's times where they'll give an easy everything and more.
Yeah, yeah,
right. Yeah, I know this is like an anniversary easy still, but it's like, who knows, like.
Because it's one of those things where they still, even like, you can't really, he's not great now, but you can kind of get away with him in some things. So it's like, they don't really have to do that much, but his EZA is going to go down as, it's probably going to be divisive either way, right? Because they'll either not do very much, and then the people that want to sort of hang on to his glory will say, oh, so he's still perfectly fine as is. Or he'll be ridiculously super broken. And then people will go back to being annoyed about everyone talking about him all the time. And I've seen enough Tech Gohan is better memes. So
I just love how the dummies used to argue Tech Gohan versus Cooler, and then Gohan is better than Cooler's EZA. So.
Yeah.
That is great. That is fantastic. I just like I don't even care. Just make it easy, bus. Just do it.
When it comes to
I
those
just
sort of
think it'd be
things,
funny.
the Dokkan Fest Easy A's, especially from older characters that are, at some point that character was probably someone's favorite character, someone's favorite release, their favorite unit in the game. Then it gets an Easy A. Like the last thing you want is for them to be disappointing, right? These units like Int Goku Black, STR Jira, and stuff like that, right? Like
quite literally, your goat is fumbled. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully they will make it good. And then we got our last one here come in at the last second. We do need to finish up here, but our boy Talas World, $4.99 with the territory and taunt this year. What will the 10th anniversary units bring? Also, Truth, Talas wants you to call him a bum as well.
Sure, Talas is a bum.
So yeah, with territories and taunts being new mechanics this year, if you had any ideas off the top of your heads as we end here, any sort of new mechanics that could come into play. I think taunt is one of like the big ones that people had been suggesting for a while, so it's cool to see that in the game. But
yeah, for sure.
Again, 10th anniversary. What if they do again? A lot of people are been talking about like they want a tag mechanic where you switch back and forth. That could be something. An idea I have is like, what if it's like some new mechanic where it's like, let's say you have a card and it's like Goku, Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta or something. And then you could choose what you want to do. Like you could choose to fuse into Vegito or choose to fuse into Gogeta. Right?
Yeah.
And then it's like the other card could be you could choose to fuse into Blue Vegito or Blue Gogeta or something. Right?
Yeah.
Something like that could be cool.
Yeah, because I know
tag mechanic where people are like, what if we could tag between Vegito and Gogeta? Like as a switching back and forth, right?
Yeah, something like that would be very cool. Truth, have you got any thoughts on mechanics that you may have thought of at some point that you'd like to see that maybe could be implemented outside of like the taunt thing?
Yeah, my idea is Easy A2 for 10th anniversary. I think like, that could be the big thing.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Like I say, taunt coming in is a really big one. I know that's something people wanted to see for a while because it's a reasonable, like it makes sense within like the way the game works for that kind of ability, right? And pretty much the way it works exactly is how people had kind of speculated that an ability like that would work. So I think that has been done quite well. And we'll see how they continue to build on that from there. So with that, that is the last one. Shout out to everybody who did contribute tonight and help support the podcast. We appreciate you guys very much. But yeah, that is the last one on the list. So back to you, Theo.
W. Well, thank you everybody for your passionate support. We always really, really appreciate it. Thank you once again, Truth, for coming on this episode of the podcast. We really, really appreciate it.
It was fun.
Hey, well, there you go.
I am glad to hear it. Yeah, it's always fun whenever we have a guest on. It's always interesting. It always spices things up a little bit.
Yep.
So yeah, thank you for coming on. Obviously, we had to get the man on for the Beast Gohan episode. So hope all of you enjoyed. Obviously, we will be back again next week. I think by then we'll basically be approaching more towards some of the part 3 stuff that we were kind of discussing about in this video. So look forward to that. And with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. We will see you in the next one. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Peace out.
Bye.
Later, Gators.